Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem, but we got some people here that are very important. First, this is my sister from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Zamari. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. You gave me a good laugh this morning, so I'm good.
Okay, just put me out there, boy. Look at here, shit. I got beat up bad yesterday. I got beat up by 3 elementary kids yesterday. Beat up, threw in the towel. Y'all win. Nah, go on, do what you want to do. Yeah, go ahead on. We want to go ahead about it. Go ahead on. We want to go ahead on. Whatever y'all want to do, y'all go ahead on and do it, cause y'all whoop me. Badger, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Morning and blessings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm trying to get this fella to get in here. I don't know if his feed is up yet. There you go. There you go. The wise man, Donald Toussaint. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Toussaint, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Are you there, brother? See, the more you gave him the name, the wise man, he done ran and he
I'm
done.
I'm pressing this button over and over again, and when I press it, it don't function. So I press it again, and it's turning on me.
Mm, it sound like them 3 elementary kids I had
it's
yesterday.
it don't want to cooperate with me today.
Mm. There you go. Look at that.
Good
Got
morning.
you up and ready now.
Good,
You good to go now.
good
Good
morning.
morning, sir. Oh, man. Man. I'm having I'm having
Good morning. Good morning, Badger. Good
I'm
morning.
having
Morning.
after I'm having shock from what happened to me yesterday.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Man, listen,
I thought you was out with the
I
kiddies.
was, and that's what happened to me yesterday. Good morning, Rico. How you doing this morning?
Rico.
What's going on with y'all, man? I can't complain. How y'all doing, man?
Hey, doing good, doing good. I
Good.
was telling them about what happened to me yesterday, man, and my granddaughter. You know, my grandkids. They call me. I'm going. I'm going. Well, they had a field trip yesterday. Atlanta Zoo. Went to the Atlanta Zoo yesterday. That's why we didn't do the broadcast yesterday. 'Cause I was at the zoo. They assigned us. They fed the kids, sugared them up and everything, and they assigned the parents with kids. Well, okay, that's fine. I'm thinking, okay, well, that's good. It's gonna be good. I didn't know they was gonna give us 3 apiece. Man, they gave me 3 elementary kids.
That was my reaction too, Toussaint.
Not only that, Rico, let me make this thing plain to you, brother. They didn't just give me 3 elementary kids. They gave me 3 first graders.
They wasn't yours?
Well, not mine. Three, 3 elementary kids. 2 little girls and a little boy. Man, I'd rather take a peek.
See, you didn't have the luxury of having somebody that was familiar with you that you had a relationship with. You
Man,
had to go raw.
man, listen. Man,
I know how that turned out.
man, listen. We ain't look here. When I got home, it went the way it went. Thank God. I finally and we was if anybody know about the Atlanta area, man, the zoo is a little ways away. I had to deal with the traffic and getting home and stuff like that. Finally, I had to make a couple of stops before I got home. Then I finally got home. Got home, looked at the clock. I said, "Oh man, let me lay down and take me a little nap. I'm tired. I'm wore out." Man, I'm beating them kids. Them kids beat the brakes off me, bro. Tucson, they beat the brakes off me, man. I ain't ashamed to tell you they beat the brakes off me, bro. They beat me. Yeah, I said one day I take me a little nap. I did. Guess who's up? Look at here. I done missed phone calls, texts, and I done mixed all I don't know whether they say text or Texas or how they say that thing. But man, look here. I had to rejuvenate myself. I'm back now, though. I'm ready. I'm ready. I wish them 3 kids would come the day I got y'all today. Come on through here. Come on through here. Come on through. Wish y'all would. Don't come mess with me. Leave me alone. But listen.
I bet you if they come through that door right now, you're going to panic shock.
I called for some help, brother. I called for some help. But yeah, man. But you know, it was good though. You know, I always loved. I'm an animal lover, like I said a couple of days in the broadcast, man. So being at the zoo, man, and being able to actually see all those animals and stuff like that, man. One parent was there. She said, "I sure hope these animals don't be having sex." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, we bought some middle schools over here, and the gorillas was having sex, and all of them took the cameras out, and you could imagine what they were doing." I said, "Oh Lord Jesus." I said, you saying this in front of elementary kids, you know. You saying this in front of elementary kids. But anyway, enough about that. I gotta ask y'all a question. Rico, where you at, brother? You all right? There you go. I want to ask y'all a question, man. And Badger, this is based on your state, so I'm looking for you to have some insight on this as well. But what is going on with that governor? What is going on with that governor of Texas? Nobody said anything. Is he crazy? What's your governor name, Badger? Badger, you there?
I'm here. I just about hit the floor.
What's his name? What's his name again? I forget his name. What's his name?
Abbott.
Abbott. Man, what is wrong with Abbott? Is he okay, Badger? I'm gonna ask you first. You from there? You live there every day. Is he okay, man?
That depends on who you ask. Well, what do you do now?
I'm trying to figure out. Now, this is the same guy that there was a guy there was a protest with the Black Lives Matter. One of our Caucasian brothers was protesting with the Black Lives Matter organization, and guy pulled up, drove up and stuff like that, and shot and killed the guy. Another Caucasian brother came up and shot and killed him, and they convicted him. Now the governor is saying he wants to pardon him and set him free. He don't want him to serve any time in prison at all. But there's another young man that was, and I'm gonna tell y'all something before I even say the story. I'm gonna tell you that the young man was a black guy, was arrested. He was arrested. Now he was doing wrong. I'm not gonna never try to justify anybody doing anything wrong. So yeah, he was doing wrong, but he was arrested. And what he did was he spit on one of the officers. And because of the fact that he spit on one of the officers, now they're saying they want to make an example out of him. Nobody do that again. They're looking to give him 70, 68, 69, 70 years in prison. Where's the balance in that, Badger?
Man, being in this state with the way they run things, I don't know anymore. I don't know where there is balance in this state. There is so much going on that I honestly didn't know this even happened.
Wow. Yeah.
That's how much craziness is going on here.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to figure out where is the balance in this thing. They say that the justice supposed to be a scale of justice, a balance of scale, and all that stuff. Where's the balance in this, man? You want this man kill somebody? He shot and killed somebody, and you want to pardon him so he don't have to serve a day in jail, but you want to give somebody else 70 years. 70 years in prison for spitting on somebody. Now, I don't condone spitting on nobody because that's one of the most nastiest things you could ever do. That's disgusting to think that you will spit on somebody or think that little of them to spit on them. So that's totally wrong. But 70 years in prison, 70, and they say they want to make an example out of him, so nobody else do it again. But you're gonna give this person 70 years, 70. Zamari, where's the balance?
Oh,
Go ahead, Badger.
they're trying to claim this is about Daniel Perry, right?
Yes.
I think they're still trying to use the self-defense. They're trying to use the self-defense Texas laws to pardon him.
You shoot and kill somebody in a place where they're protesting. You go out to the protest because you're in opposition of the protest that they're doing. So you position yourself in a place where you can possibly harm or be harmed, but you're afraid. So, you know, it's self-defense because I was afraid for my life. If you was afraid for your life, why would you go there? If you're afraid for your life, why would you put yourself in that situation or that position to be possibly harmed?
So
come on. I got my tennis racket out today.
no, it's Texas. So I don't know everything involved with this case. I know bits and pieces. I know supposedly there was a gun pointed at the guy. And if there's actual evidence of a gun being pointed at the person at Daniel Perry, he would be protected under the self-defense laws in Texas.
But my thing is the people that has come forward and said no one pointed the gun at him at all. The guy did have a gun, but they say nobody pointed the gun at the guy. And why was he driving through the protest like that? Why was he even causing those problems? It sounded to me
the way a lot of these people are out here. He was looking for trouble.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could try to dress this thing up, but yeah, absolutely. And he found it. But to have the governor to come back and say, well, you know, self-defense and we're going to pardon him, he should not do time. And then have the same governor to say, well, we're going to give this person 70 years in prison because of the fact that we're going to make an example out of him. But you're not going to make an example out of the individual that shot and killed somebody. You don't want to make an example out of him, but you want to make an example out of somebody that spit on somebody else. Rico, talk to me, brother. What sense does that make to you? What's the balance?
Well, it's probably going to be in the language of how they present the case, how the prosecutor present the case. It's going to have to come out and actual the evidence, the witnesses. You know, that, I mean, you know, I ain't gonna say he really does have a leg to stand on, but if he's saying that he was in fear for his life because the guy had a gun and other people saying, but he didn't raise the gun, you know, I think it's still gonna be a situation of did this man still feeling fear? You know, they may ask, why were you even there? Who knows?
Exactly.
You know, but that, I mean, that's, you know, that will be, you know, something that could be questioned. I mean, I don't know if they'll try him on that. He may say he was there to keep the peace. You know, the stereotype of Black Lives Matter was that they would come to tear up stuff. That's the stereotype that people put out. You know how they say, oh man, you know, they group people together and categorize them and then they put labels on them. And ever since George Floyd, you know, they had videos of different people that would go and tear up these buildings and the Black Lives Matter protesters would be trying to stop them. But before you know it, they would trigger a whole different momentum. And after that, you got the people looting and stuff. And so that stereotype went against the protesters that wouldn't do this. And those people that think, oh, those Black Lives Matter to come through and tear up stuff and steal and loot and this and that and it cause riots. And it ain't really true. But you have those that believe that to feel like, well, you know what? I want to come to try to make sure that I protect our property. I want to make sure that I protect ourselves from these violent protesters that they put that label on or that they flip that narrative to. And so, you know, he'll be able to actually say that's why he was down now. Like with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Who nominated him to do that? Who nominated him to do that?
The same people that nominated Kyle Rittenhouse, nobody.
Exactly.
You know, but we see what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. So, I mean, you know, if we can go and get in an uproar and get surprised again when this happens the same way it did with Kyle Rittenhouse, or we could look and learn from example or from experience and already know, okay, this is how this is going to go. This is really just going to be a repeat of the Kyle Rittenhouse situation.
Now explain to me the part. Explain to me the part, Rico, about them. This same governor that wanted to pardon this man for killing somebody, wanted to give this other young man 70 years for spitting on somebody. Where's the balance in that, man? How does that line up?
It doesn't. That's the reason why there needs to be judicial reform and oversight. You know, that's the reason why there needs to be committees to see how fair the sentencing is, not just in local jurisdictions, but across the state, just to make sure that, you know, people aren't taking advantage of their authority just to throw out time to people and give them sentences that impact their lives. And sometimes they might not even be guilty, but nobody gave them a fair trial. So, you know, there should be more oversight. I mean, we speak about judicial reform all day long, and it still seems to not be any type of attempt. And, you know, if we don't make as much momentum as the LGBTQ did for their purposes and all these other groups to get their things done, then it will never happen. I mean, right now we're losing so many people through this judicial system, family courts, civil courts, you name it. It's a mismanagement of justice and an abuse of authority by people who think they have the ultimate opinion or authority on situations that they really have no good information on. They don't have any good familiarity with. But here it is, 70 years for spitting on a cop. Teach you a lesson.
Yeah.
There has to be something in place to come back and say, "Nah, you went above your duties." That's excessive. You know, maybe the bar should be the one stepping in when these type of things happen, since they are the standard.
Now, I was just saying somebody needs to go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. The bar, they're the standard. You know what I'm saying? If you can't depend on the judicial system, there has to be somebody on the outside with enough authority or power to be able to enforce those findings that they have when they see those discrepancies.
Exactly. And Zamar, for the listeners, what we're gonna do, we don't want to make this a black or white thing. We're gonna take the color equation. We're gonna say there was a blue person and a green person. We'll just say it like that. You know what I mean? But I just want to know what my stance is where's the balance? Where's the balance of justice? How could you want to pardon one person? How could you want to pardon the blue person for killing somebody, but you want to give the green person 70 years for spitting on somebody? Where lies the justice in that? And where's the equality in the justice when you have a situation like that, Zamari?
Sorry, my son decided he wanted to talk to me at the same time. I don't know anything about this situation at all other than what you're telling me. But honestly, it's very unbalanced from what it sounds like. Number one, extremely unbalanced. You want to pardon somebody, and I don't even know how that works. I thought, how has this person even been sentenced yet? How can you pardon someone that hasn't yet been sentenced? I thought they had to be sentenced to something first.
What he's been sentenced. He's been sentenced.
Oh, he had. Okay.
But what it is, see, technically speaking, and I'm sure a lot of people do know this, the governor cannot pardon him, but the governor can recommend to the pardon organization.
Yeah, okay, yes.
He is pardoned. And so they have to go through those steps. But the governor is going to recommend, strongly, he said, recommend that he gets a pardon.
But yet he wants to put somebody else behind bars for 70 years for spitting.
Exactly.
And that right there, I've never, ever in my life heard anyone assaulting an officer like that and getting 70 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard of that in my life. So, you know, they might have whatever charges pressed against them for assaulting an officer, right? But not 70 years behind bars for that. Like what is going on with that? I don't, it's unfair. I mean, point blank, I don't care. Like you said, blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, whatever stripes. I don't care. Like that's completely unbalanced.
Exactly.
Completely unbalanced. You want to make an example of someone, sure, but not by issuing 70 years behind bars because they spit on an officer. And yes, it's nasty
Yeah.
Yes, it's assault,
Mm-hmm.
but
It is
not 70
assault
years
and battery.
worth.
And truth of the matter, when you spit upon somebody, that's assault and battery. That's assault and battery. And so,
But this is where it's backwards. And our whole world right now is so backwards, right? He's giving this guy 70 years for spitting on an officer, but the individual who actually killed somebody, he's asking
yes,
to be pardoned. That's the
yeah,
person that should be behind bars for 70 years for
exactly,
taking a life. That's
exactly.
the way that should go.
Mm-hmm.
You take a life, you should serve the time. You shouldn't get out again. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
you shouldn't. And I've watched a lot of crime documentaries and crime shows and all that, and it blows my mind how little time some of these people serve
Mm-hmm.
for the crime they committed for killing somebody.
Exactly.
10 years, 15 years, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you did X, Y, and Z, and you're only getting that much time?
Sometimes a slap on the wrist. Don't
And
do
sometimes
it
a
no more.
slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. But this is completely backwards. This makes zero sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I have to say.
And it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And you have the same governor. I could see if it was two different governors and they had different mindsets as to how they dealt with situations. I could accept that a little bit because you're dealing with two different people. But if you're dealing with the same individual thinks so strongly about this and so little about murder. Tucson, something is wrong, man. Something is wrong. Like Rico said, man, something is wrong with the system, and the whole thing need to be fixed, man. What do you say to that, Tucson? What are you hearing when you hear this?
If it quacked like a duck, it's a duck.
Mm-hmm.
People don't change just because you put them somewhere.
Yeah.
They gonna show themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And he's showing himself. I Badger, you know anything about Vida? Is it Vida or Texas? There's a little town called in Texas. I don't know. I might have called the wrong name. If I did, I'm so sorry, Vida. There till this day, don't stop there.
You talking about
you're
the
gonna have
sundown town?
It's right on the it's right on the Louisiana Texas line, and I'm gonna have to find before the show. I'm fine, but don't stop there because you're gonna have problems if you are of a certain
Persuasion.
background.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have some problem. So Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia. Did I miss some? Can I say Arkansas, Rico? Southern states. Southern states. The real South. They ain't never changed. They refuse to change. They don't even want to be, they want their own country. They will support and go to their grave support.
Is Vidor, Texas.
Okay. All right. But I stopped there, for instance. But anyway, I don't want to get too off track. Come on, man. Now, this guy, I can't think about the guy that killed the one guy, and he became famous overnight. For killing this guy, and I don't think he spent a day in jail yet. And here's the governor want to pardon this guy that ever did. What you doing out there?
Exactly.
With an assault rifle. What you doing out there? What was your purpose? So if you go out there looking for trouble and you find it, and no matter what it is, if you got a gun, if you got a gun, I'm gonna let you know that, okay, I got one too, buddy. So you mean to tell me that's the reason why you gonna shoot somebody because you got a gun and they got a gun? All right. So now here we go with the guy that's spitting. Come on now. 70 years. But in the states that I've already said, they got some people that are still behind bars to this day. It's been 50, 60 years for stealing $10 worth of groceries.
Yeah. Wow.
So wow. Business as usual. That's what I say. Unfortunately, in this great series of states that which one of them I live in, business as usual. So like I'm kind of like Rico, one uproar after another to cause us to get unfocused, to realize they're gonna just be the way they are. But there are some things that we need to do to counter that. And then at the same time, we put them people in office or just don't show up.
My question is, as a people, black, white, orange, polka dot, lily stripe, as a people, how do we let this system get to the point where it is right now, Toussaint? As a people, how do we let it get to you? Because obviously it's unbalanced. So how did we as a people, like I said, it doesn't matter what color you are, black, white, orange, polka dot, lily stripe, holly pearl, it don't make no difference. How did we let it get to this point?
We do the same thing we've been doing. We're consistent in being inconsistent. And the ones that are like that know it. They know you're not going to show up for the polls. They know that you pass out a couple of sandwiches on election day or the season that, you know, the politicians come around and you don't want the preacher in the pulpit, but they walk right up there like they've been holier than thou for years. They walk up there and make them promises that you know they ain't gonna keep them.
Yeah.
Get up there with the big cowboy hat. Ain't nothing wrong with the cowboy hat. I want one myself. I want some big buckles built, and I want some big cowboy shoes
with the spurs on them.
With the spurs on them, sure do. Get me a horse and ride that sucker till it can't ride it.
Lord Jesus.
Ride that.
Now you know what he's talking about, right?
But what I'm saying is, there's a certain mentality of certain people that we know it ain't right, but we support it, and we've been supporting it, and we're showing ourselves. We've taken off we don't shave our heads no more. I say we don't shave our heads no more. We don't wear no white sheets. We're not doing that no more. We're not covering it up. We're gonna make this America great again. Remember when we used to treat them rough? I can go out and shoot somebody and never lose a vote. That's the mentality that have been spreaded like a virus. And from the president to the governors to the mayors to the chief of police and all the officers and everybody else, from the preacher to the, feel like that. And we've gotten used to it. And if you don't like it, you are the hater. You're the one that got the problem.
Wow.
So this is the land we live in. But sooner or later, you know, we keep saying sooner or later we're gonna turn this thing around. Or you almost, I wish I had slap my finger and turn into Cassandra. I'd cuss you right now.
I wish I had a dime for every time somebody said we're gonna make it better.
I'm sorry, Cassandra. I didn't mean to say that, Cassandra. I don't mean any harm by saying that. But sometimes we just need to say what's on our mind. And I got a few choice words for this kind of thing.
So a couple of cuss words are stirring up in you right now, brother. I better get away from you.
Yeah, well, I kind of try to control my tongue.
Good deal, good deal. Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good. How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good. We're talking about right now. We're talking about the state of Texas, in particular, the governor of the state of Texas, and how and I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to get somebody to tell me, make it make sense to me, how he could one guy went to a Black Lives Matter rally, happened to be one of our Caucasian brothers, and he shot and killed another one of our Caucasian brothers that was actually there protesting for Black Lives Matter. Shot and killed him. Got arrested. Now the governor is saying, I want to pardon him. I want to pardon him. He shouldn't serve a day in jail. He shouldn't serve a day in prison. I want to pardon him. But then you had another young man that was being arrested and fighting against the police or whatever it was. And I'm just not gonna try to condone what he did or agree with what he did. He broke the law, so he was wrong. But he spit on one of the officers, and now that same governor is saying, I want to make an example out of him. Not out of the man that killed somebody, shot and killed somebody, but I want to make an example out of him for spitting on the police. I want to give him 70, 68, 69, 70 years in prison. Ryan, where's the balance? And like I said earlier, we're not gonna make this a color thing. The people could be blue and green. Let's say that they're blue for the listeners. Let's say that they're blue and green. But what I want to know is where's the balance?
Man, I don't have an answer for where's the balance because there isn't any. I don't know what his reasoning, Governor Abbott's reasoning for trying to pardon that other individual is. I haven't even looked into that. I've been too focused on what's going on in the big cities right now. But do you have any context on what his argument is on why he should pardon this guy who killed someone as opposed to charging someone with, spitting is considered assault
And battery? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you carry diseases or whatever. Not that one spit is going to give you anything, but it's just the principle of the thing. But 70 years is egregious.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
way over the top. Even a year is egregious for spitting.
Yeah.
Like, as a CO, you get spit on, you just take them off to the sale somewhere.
But that's the whole thing right there, man. How could that even?
I don't know, Ryan. I think people right now. I think people right now are in this weird twilight state, and that's all across the board. Like, for instance, and I'm not trying to get off topic, but I'm trying to give the rationale, right? These people are in a twilight zone. So you got these curfews going up in some of these cities. 14-year-olds have to be in by 9. 14 to 16 for some reason can stay out till 11, and then midnight on the weekend. But if you're out there caught on the curfew, the police are not allowed to arrest you. They're not allowed to chase you down, figure out what's going on. So what's the purpose of the curfew? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So things right now just don't make sense anywhere. Like I was saying at the end of Monday's broadcast, incentivizing crime. Like, it's okay to steal now. It's okay to go break up this and trash these stores to where they want to close them down because we're not going to prosecute you because, you have a need. Like, things are so upside down. It's like the books say, in the end, the truth will be a lie and the lie will be the truth, and it'll be right in front of your face. And everything is so twisted. I think that people are jaded and their decision-making processes are being hampered by all the craziness. That's what I think.
Wow. How did we get here? I asked this question earlier, Ryan, and I'm gonna stick with you for a second. We got some people on the phone line. I'm gonna go to the phone lines next. How did we get to this place? And again, I don't want to make this a color thing, black, white, orange, polka dot, lily stripe, or whatever it is. How did we as a people get to the place where, there's such an injustice going on in what we call the justice system?
I think, excuse me, we got here by trying to use, or not use, but figure out the word. It's not pandering, but it is. Where we're cowering down and removing our belief systems and our moral systems, and it's starting to infiltrate into the justice system, and it's making it worse than it already was. Like we're seeing these people out here from different alternative lifestyles, to keep it PC, people from different walks of life, and you're right, it has no bearing on color. It's really just, you're seeing all these things out here and you're being force fed this stuff through every type of media outlet, through social media, how everything that we believed in the past is wrong, and all of this new stuff is the new way, and we have to succumb to the new way, or we're racist, or we're a bigot, or we just don't care about people.
Yeah.
And it's starting to take a root, and like Willis say, we got to get it out by the root somehow. Or it's never going to change. It's going to keep getting worse, and then we're going to be out here as the senior people, the people who have made it through life, trying to wrangle in these young people, and it's never going to happen because there's so many of them and they don't care anymore across all backgrounds, that it's going to be a seriously nasty fight.
Well, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I know I can actually ask you this question right here, because you have a history. You have a history, man. With your family dynamics, and what would you say to the individual that's lived here in the United States of America their whole life, and they say to you, "Well, you talking about this justice system? There have never been justice, or have there ever been justice for the black man here in America?" How would you answer that question? Have there ever been true justice for the black man here in America?
I would have to say no on certain fronts. Because you can't just paint the whole board and say no, because there are some people that do certain things that they deserve everything they got. And that's across the board, doesn't matter what color you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that there are certain things, especially when it comes to petty crime and drugs, that it has been a history of injustice. Of course, absolutely. You can't deny that. You just look at the numbers and you can see it.
Yeah.
But I think that as a blanket statement, I can't just say no on every level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's fair. We got,
before you go to someone else, let me throw in some details on each of those, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
The shooting was a green guy shooting a green guy.
Yeah.
The spitter has a very crazy history of robbery and domestic violence. Disobeying parole, disobeying restraining. Is it a restraining order?
Yeah. Okay.
Where you're not supposed to go to somebody's house and all that kind of stuff. So the guy that spit, the jury is what pushed for the 70-year, because they said this person has not learned through all of this history of violence, and we'd rather him not be on the street anymore.
Wow, that's a very powerful stance for them to take, because somewhere I saw where it says that the punishment should fit the crime. The punishment should fit the crime.
I don't disagree with that. I'm letting you know.
Yeah. I understand.
I was just looking everything up, and the guy that shot is an Army sergeant that did put his vehicle in a spot that he shouldn't have put it in.
Yeah.
So pretty much he pulled up, saw the people coming down. Abbott's trying to say that the stand your ground law that Texas has, and the whole fact of the defendants are trying to prove that a gun was pointed at him, so therefore it was okay for the green man to shoot the green man.
And see
And that's where that's at.
See, but all the bystanders that was there that I saw, and certainly they didn't interview everybody. They made a picked and chosen who they wanted to interview, to fit their narrative. Maybe that's the case. You know, you never know. But the people that I saw when they was interviewing and said no, there was no weapon pointed at him at all. There was no weapon pointed at him. He just took the stance that he wanted to do, like Rico said, do something, and that's what he elected to do. But had he just got into his car and went on about his business, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? I think it's Joseph. Joseph, you there? No yawn.
Yeah.
No yawn in the loud, Rico.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, look, I was looking at this gun situation, man. It's gun culture thing. Of course, the Black Lives Matter title triggered Governor Abbott because, you know, they have to prove something to the Black Lives Matters that all lives matter, which is crazy on its, you know, it's crazy by itself. But then to look at those two cheerleaders that were shot by, I guess, the Hispanic male, with all of the attempts on the right to give more or to expand the rights of the gun owner, I think they have put the whole society in danger because some people don't know the difference between stand your ground and a mistake of someone walking to the wrong car.
Mm-hmm.
You may have done many times. I know I have. I attempted to get in the wrong car at least 7, 8 times that I can remember. If you could kill someone for going to the wrong car, that should tell the politicians that they've gone too far with the laws. But unfortunately, in the gun culture, the NRA and the other gun enthusiasts are looking for ways to justify these killings. The young white girl up north who drove up the wrong driveway,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, turned around, didn't even get out the car,
Mm-hmm.
turned around, and the gun owner, the homeowner with the gun, felt that he was justified
Mm-hmm.
in shooting at that car. Are we at war in America?
It appears as
I
though.
mean, if we were in
It appears as
Sudan,
though.
if we were in Sudan right now, I would understand that.
Mm-hmm.
If we were in Ukraine, I would understand that because I'm a military man. I could understand. But even in the military, if you shoot somebody wrongfully, most of us military folks know you could be brought before the international court.
Mm-hmm.
So even in combat, I would be very careful with my weapon. Now America has gone too far with the gun thing, period. And the governor is only adding fuel to the fire if he wants to pardon a man who have been tried by his peers
Mm-hmm.
and found guilty of murder.
Yeah.
If the governor overturns that, he's adding fuel to the fire, and we're pushing this society more into the danger zone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I understand that. Yeah, there's some racial component to some of it, and then some of it is just absurd.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And it is, man, because I can't. My mind is not able, I guess you could say, to understand the separation between the two. There's a huge gap there, and Rico, it's hard for me to understand that gap and why that gap is so wide. Help me understand it, brother.
But we all suffering though. We're all gonna suffer, and it could be your child, it could be mine, or it could be you or me.
Mm-hmm.
But we all are in danger, and if we don't raise our voices about it and force the so-called lawmakers to make some adjustments,
Mm-hmm.
then none of us are safe.
Exactly.
None of us are.
Exactly. Rico, speak to me, brother.
Yeah, I agree with what Joseph's saying, man. I mean, it's like man, I'm trying to find the right words to put this into. They created a system of survival that creates frustration and more criminality for survival.
Mm-hmm.
So you have people want to protect what they got. Don't come on my property. I'm shooting anything that cross my property line. You got neighbors fighting and killing each other over property lines. You got people killing people for pulling up in the driveway. One little young black guy fighting for his life right now because he went to the wrong 115th Street and rung a door. Looking for his brother.
Mm-hmm.
Smart young man. Took some bullets to his body.
Yep.
You know, because people felt like, oh, I need to protect myself. It's a crazy world we live in. Why we think it's a crazy world? What made it a crazy world? It's these systems that we participate in and that we support. And what it boils down to is you have these other influences like movies and music and television that has influenced people since that, I'm gonna say since that invention, since that this introduction of thing called technology that gave everybody this entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It gave us more entertainment to see people react and respond like this, and you see people start adapting to that type of behavior. So it's funny that, you know, we sort of went in this direction because it's like the world lives in a fantasy world, you know what I'm saying, where we have so many distractions that we fantasize, and then sooner or later we strive to be these things that we see on TV. We want to be like the things we see on TV, and mentally we become some of these characters. You know, I tell people all the time, I see more women act like Erica Kane off of soap operas now. They feel like that's a powerful woman. You know, they didn't. You see, the influence of what a powerful woman is. If you try to say, well, I want to look at Michelle Obama as a powerful woman compared to looking at Cardi B, the Cardi B is going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
The Erica Kanes are going to take over. This is what a real woman is, a powerful woman is. So people want to look like these characters and live that lifestyle. And so you have people like politicians, lawmakers, they get in positions where they're supposed to be superheroes, and they turn into Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Wow.
know, they turn into these people where they abuse their power and they just want to dominate and control and only want to look out for the best interests of certain people instead of looking out for the best interest of all people, like a superhero. See, they got superhero positions. They just don't have superheroes in them. They have human beings that are biased and discriminatory and emotional and prejudiced, and they can say all kind of things that they feel. I mean, like, imagine me going to court with a judge and my son's mother not being there, and me telling him about the relationship me and my son got and how his mother has kept him from me, and then him telling me, well, I don't want to give you visitation overnight. I don't want to allow him to come to the state of Alabama because it seems like y'all don't have too much of a relationship, so he don't know too much about you. Well, that's the whole purpose of him being able to come to Alabama. You know the situation.
Exactly.
See, but this judge said he felt that we didn't have enough bond. Man, you don't know what type of bond we got.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to go and prove through a paper trail or whatever type of way what type of relationship me and my son has based off of how you feel about it in your opinion. That's too much power.
Yeah.
That's too much power.
Absolutely.
And it's unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So from case to case throughout history of this judicial system, you have judges and maybe some juries and prosecutors and police that abuse their authority, and instead of them being superheroes, they're being Lex Luthors.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. That's good, and that's exactly what it is. It's almost like, oh man, I don't know why this vision came into my mind, but like putting Ned the Wino in a Superman costume. He ain't gonna be able to leap no tall building in no single bound. He ain't gonna be able to do it. But let me go to the phone line. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, what up, man?
What's going on with you, Captain? Hey, doing good, doing good. Curtis, we're talking about Texas, and really we're talking about the governor of Texas and how his stance is. Two different ends of the spectrum. One, there's a young man that killed somebody at the Black Lives Matter protest. He shot and killed the man, got convicted. The governor saying he wanted to pardon this man because he don't think he should serve any time in jail. But yet and still, there's another young man that was being arrested and spit on an officer, a police officer, and he want to make an example out of him and give him 70, 68, 69, 70 years in prison. What is that divide? What is that mindset? How does that make sense, Curtis?
Well, the Bible tells us that there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we just went through Easter, and every Easter, I tend to think about the world then and the world now, and hearing what everybody was saying, right? I think about what came to me on Resurrection Day. We are living in a world full of people that were free Barabbas. That's what it is. All these young kids dying the way they dying, man, because that evil side of creation is looking for something, man. You know, that governor in Texas, man, let's just call it spade a spade, y'all. He's crying. What we're seeing is we're living through the last ages of the Grand Dragons being in seats of power. That's what's going on. Sad reality, well, I ain't gonna say the sad reality because it's beneficial for the rest of the world, is that those same people who think like that, their kids are starting to revolt, man. Come on, Badger sitting right there. I bet you if Badger was to look up who got donations from the NRA from 2015 to present, and he laid those names out there, man, he probably wouldn't have no show no more. That's like Martin Taylor Greene. It ain't no different than Martin Taylor Greene coming up to New York, to the federal prison in New York, talking about she want to visit the people who've been convicted and hand them awards and all of that for that mess they did on January 6th. That is a classic case of a subset of a culture that has been in power for so long that they're showing us that they will do anything to remain in power. That's what it is. The governor of Texas should be in prison anyway.
And why is that?
Tell you what the charge should be?
Why is that?
The charges should be kidnapping, man. You can't. It's me, you, Rico, and anybody else on this phone call right now. Go and snatch somebody, male, female, child, small boy, small girl, I don't care what it is. If we take somebody's dog and we move that dog from point A to point B without the written and verbal consent of its owner or of its maker, that is kidnapping, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When he sent all them people, when he made all them people get on them doggone planes and get on the buses and then drop them off at Camilla Harris' house and drop them off up in the Hamptons at I guess the dude's name is George Sorbo's house or whatever. That's kidnapping, bro. The problem is don't nobody want to call out an inconvenient truth. And then the rest of the folks, they want to act like, what's his name, Raheem? What was the Roman governor doing the crucifixion? Oh God, his name escaping me right now. Oh man, Pontius Pilate. they want to try and wash their hands with it. Act like they ain't got nothing to do with it. No, you got everything to do with it. Because that was something you have the power to check that, and you did nothing.
Okay, hold right there, Curtis. We gotta move on. Don't go nowhere. Stay right there, Zamari. What's on your heart?
Nada. I said my piece on it. I mean, it is what it is, right? They did what they did, and if what Badger said,
Zamari, in 2023, man, it's just heartbreaking to think that we still in this place.
it is. I mean, but like if what Badger said is true, that this man, you know, violating probation, violating this, having this violent type past, I can kind of understand why a jury would come back with that sort of verdict. However,
would they feel the same way if they say if they did it like this? They had a blank picture up there and say this person has done all these things. This person has a history of all the history that this individual have. They say they had this history, and they say I want you to go in and I want you to do your jury duty and come back and tell us what should happen. And then all of a sudden they come back, they say, well, we recommend 70 years because this person has a history. Obviously is not going to do right. They're not going to act right. They're not going to, do the right thing like they're supposed to do. And we don't need them to be a part of society because of the fact that, they're wrong. And they've proven many times over, they've proven that they're not going to act right. And they say, okay, bring it back. And they have the head juror stand up and read it and see, we recommend 70 years. And then they say, okay, good. And then they say, let me take the cover off the picture. And they take the cover off the picture, and it's the head juror's daughter. The head juror's daughter is the one that he has just went to the jury and did all this stuff and recommended that this person's not gonna do good. And then they reveal the picture of the person that they've been I don't know what they call it when they go in the jury room, what they call that, but reveal the picture. And it's the head juror's daughter.
Guess he should have raised her better.
No. My question is, do you think he would feel the same way? Do you think he would feel the same way about getting 70 years?
Absolutely not, right? And especially, absolutely not. I feel like there would definitely be a bias there.
Yes.
But at the end, and I believe with certain cases, they do bring up the history of the defendant or whatever. He has a violent past, she has a violent past, they're known for doing X, Y, and Z. The attorney will bring that to the forefront of the jury to make them aware of those things. So it's not uncommon for that to be presented and used, right, to try to sway a verdict, if you will, or just to make the jury aware. So
70 years though.
70 years, I still think is going a bit too far, right? Well, not even a bit, but it is going too far. But given his past, right? If he's got all of these other things in his past, I mean, yes, absolutely, I would say take those into consideration as well. But I cannot say to what level or what sort of a term he should serve based on that.
But you know what? None of the charges that he had, none of the charges that this young man had was murder. And now you're willing to let murder
and because you're comparing these two, like I absolutely get that, right? But if we're just looking at the one that standing on its own, if you will, I mean, yes, 70 years is, I don't even know anyone with a violent past like that is serving 70 years. Even for murder. Like I said earlier, there's people who serve 25 years for murder and then they're out. So I don't understand. I really don't understand the whole mentality behind it. I wish I did. Sometimes I wish I was a lawyer or, someone who knew the system well enough in all of these different states to really say why. But I don't have that knowledge, and I don't think any of us here really do, to understand how or why those decisions are made based on these certain things. And the fact that both of these incidences, you said they both happened in Texas, right?
Yes, yes.
So there's absolute, unless, and I don't know, unless based on jurisdiction, if these were in different parts, different laws. I mean, you guys know that every county has different laws, all of that. So I just don't know. I don't know, but I do. What is he just trying to make this guy into a martyr? I mean, because that's what you said, though, right? Like, oh, so nobody else does this again, spitting on somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like turning him into a martyr, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, if you want to turn someone into a martyr, so to speak, give the other guy the 70 years. He took a life.
Exactly.
He took a life.
Exactly.
So,
Brother Pete. Oh, Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Badger, you know we don't do it. Badger, you know we don't do it like that, brother. Hold on, Badger.
news though.
Badger.
Good morning, DKM Radio, Morning Glow, Facebook, listening audience, the world. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good.
Badger, did you want me to give Badger 3 seconds? Can you continue that? I can pause.
No, go ahead. I want to find out what you think about this whole situation. I'll go back to Badger. Badger, hold on for 1 second, brother. Go ahead. Pete.
Oh, I thought you were giving my brother a chance. Okay. I think I know the case. The young man had a criminal history of some other minor crimes.
Well, we're comparing the two. The one where our Caucasian brother actually killed a Black Lives Matter protester. Another Caucasian, he killed our Caucasian brother. He killed him at the protest. Got convicted. And now the governor, Abbott, is saying that he wants to pardon the young man that killed somebody. Stand your ground, whatever it is, whatever the case. Say he want to pardon him, that he shouldn't do any time in jail. Now the other case is where the young man was being arrested, and we're not going to condone his wrongdoings. He was wrong in what he was doing. We're not trying to condone or say that he wasn't wrong. We're not saying that at all. But what we are saying is this: he spit on a police officer, and now they want to make an example out of him, if you will, and give him 70, 68, 69, 70 years in prison for spitting on a police officer. Where is the balance? Where's the balance in all this?
There is no balance in all of this. What you're seeing are the root systems, the root system in function, and the deep-seated rooted mentality in this country boiling up to the forefront. That's what you're seeing. So when we talk about liberty and justice and freedom for all, there was a maintained mindset that was intended for a select few. Okay. And that mindset has been maintained over generations since the formation. And you're seeing it now boiling to the top to maintain an old status quo mentality. Individuals who feel they are losing positions and losing power are doing everything they can to maintain this old mentality and systematic function. There is no justice, no proper adjudicating, no equality, no leveling, okay, of how we adjudicate properly in this society according to the crime. Goes from the far left to the far right, to the minor, to the greatly extreme. And personal bias and prejudice are deeply rooted in the decisions that individuals make. In a we don't even have to say a perfect world, because when you're put in a position of the judiciary, when you're put in a position of a prosecutor, a judge, a prosecutor, an attorney, a public defender, attorney, when you are elected or picked to be on a jury and make these decisions, you're put in a position to judge over situations according to the evidence in truth and facts, and then add a proper application, and it should be nothing else. But if you don't possess the root system of justice and righteousness and truth and equity, in you, even rendering a sentence with compassion. To speak the truth without compassion is considered to be brutality and cruelty. Just speaking the blunt truth. If you don't come, all these all of y'all, that's brutal. When you say it a little differently, right? You can get your point across, but you bring it across with some compassion. Well, how much more so when you're in the position of judging over another person's life and rendering a sentence to correct untoward behavior? It should all measure out equally. It should make sense. So there's no way that you would give a young man a sentence of 70 years with the higher focus on him spitting on somebody. And then somebody killed somebody else and was found guilty. And the chief law enforcement official in that state says, well, I'm going to excuse him from that.
Wow.
There's your implicit bias, your personal bias, your prejudices, your personal feelings. What does the fact say? What does the actual evidence point to? And then what does it call for? What degree of direct wrong, injury, insult, loss was created by our individual's actions? And then what is the proper sentence to give them a chance, time, and somewhat of a difficulty to come to themselves to correct that behavior? Because not only should they not do the action, but they shouldn't think the way they thought to even take the steps to create or commit an action that would bring about the cause which is the reason why we're here. Now you see how it sounds kind of complicated, but it's really very simple. Because if you're a parent, you do this type of mentality over your children if you're a true parent and you're raising them. If you're a minister or imam, right, or a rabbi in a spiritual institution, and your members come to you with issues in life up under the faith belief structure that you all have there and reinforce and teach, right, and support, he has to take that and then deal with your situation, apply the principles of your belief system, right, and then give you the proper application to give you instruction and guidance to go forward successfully. And who's wrong is to be admonished, corrected, and explained to them in depth where they fully interpret they're wrong, and then how to correct those wrongs and continue. So it's not like the qualities that are involved are not utilized on a regular basis, but because we're looking at a society. These Caucasian males, old Caucasian men in this country, are on the front line of really destroying this country with their old and antiquated mentality. Okay? It's enough for everybody. And everybody can get along. Everybody can contribute something. Everybody can do something. This wanting to maintain this old status quo system is not working.
Good deal.
And I'm gonna say this and get out the way. I want everyone to pay attention to the rhetoric and the things that are being said and done around this country, because the rhetoric and the hostility is boiling to the front. It's boiling to the front, right? Listen, you are not going to continue on as a society operating like you did in antiquity and maintaining that today, with the whole world being represented in this country called the United States. Pretty much every ethnicity from everywhere on earth have a community here in America. Now, we have an opportunity to do something. But if you don't go about it the righteous way, you are fully seeing the foundation and the start of the destruction of this society. It is being put in place to never return and to ultimately reach and achieve its full demise and destruction by self-induced hands.
Wow, that's good. Badger, you wanted to say something, brother?
So, on the shooting case, in the original case back in 2020, there was a lot of evidence that wasn't allowed in. That if this does go back to the court, it's a double-edged sword of good things to me, in my perspective, because it's going to show how corrupt Abbott is. They've got they now can use the text messages where he was talking about wanting to shoot they used the N-word as well as bagging a black guy. There's video evidence that has arisen that they will supposedly be allowed to use as well. So if Abbott actually continues pushing for this pardon with all of this evidence that shows it, my hopes is that some of these Texans wake up. But if they don't, I really hope the rest of America finally starts to really understand what systematic racism is and why it's still a fight today.
Wow. There's so many different levels on this thing right here, man. This is Way Out Wednesday. We're gonna go around. We're gonna stay on this just for a few more minutes. Then we're gonna go around and everybody, everybody that I could get to, come out with the topic that they want to talk about. So think about what topic y'all want to talk about today, and because again, listeners, we don't have topics on particular topics on Wednesdays. Way Out Wednesday, we have open dialogue. But let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Tucson was calling for you earlier.
Oh, okay. I was I'm actually in South Carolina for a funeral. Remember I told you about?
Yes, absolutely. What do you think about this whole situation surrounding Texas and the governor there wanting to pardon one guy for murder, but want to give another guy 70 years for spitting on a police officer?
You know, it's the same old. It's the same situation that we've been talking about and dealing with for years now. And anybody that cannot see the justice in this country is disproportionately against people of color, it's something wrong with you. It's something, anybody that says that this country is fair to everybody across the board, you are in a dreamland and in a dream state. So let's clear that from the beginning. So this situation, does it surprise me? No. Because we've seen it over and over again. You would think that by 2023, we would be doing better in this country. But as far as I'm concerned, we're taking 5 to 10 steps back every time something happens like this, that we can have to talk about it. That tells me that we're taking steps backwards and not moving forward.
Wow. Tucson, talk to me, brother.
Cassandra, you did good. You did better than I want to do. Really. I mean, seriously, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I thought you would be more expressive, because I feel like being more expressive at this point because nothing changes. And it's kind of like, oh, well, here we go again. You know what I thought about it? I don't go back there because it's just damaging. David, what is his name? George Zimmerman. I thought about that. I thought about this guy here that kills a young man, and then he comes back and he wants to sue the family. Boy, I tell you what, and I agree with Pete. You we keep on this track that we're heading in, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and everybody's cheering it on in the background, and the others that just seemingly we're not necessarily victimized by it. It's just we are repeatedly amazed by the same old thing, but there is no change. Sooner or later, a cry is going to be called out. Babylon has fallen.
Wow.
Because you keep on and you search out history. When you get besides yourself, in this country, we have people that sit at the table and they political professional politicians that say, okay, we're going to put you up there. Let's call his name Johnny. and we're gonna rise you, cause you to rise up to power. And Johnny knows he can do whatever he want to do. It don't matter. I'm the governor.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten here being like I am. At the end of worship service, singing what's the name of that? Ringing in the sheen, ringing in the sheen. We gonna get them Negroes. And I don't mean it. I don't mean it like that to say that it's turning into a racial thing. But let me throw this out here for free, because I don't even go try to even entertain that. You can't exclude it. Even when you don't want to say it, you can't exclude it, because it's so plain and simple. I mean, injustice is the foundation of our justice system. Did I say that right? Let me rephrase it just to make sure that I say it right. Injustice is the very foundation of our justice system. Now, I don't need nothing else.
Wow. That's good. That's good. Rico, talk to me.
He said it, man. It started from injustice. I mean, you pretty much, the whole success of America was built off of injustice, and it was justified for the greater cause. And we want to be supportive and participants of it to this day. Hard not to, but we live in a system in some cases that we don't understand is not meant for us. I said something to you, I think it was yesterday morning, man, and it was my first time being able to relate it like this. The way we live, first off, to me, if you really break down what America was supposed to stand for, if America was supposed to be the example for mankind to carry the earth into the future. America was supposed to be the example of mankind for the globe to follow. That's why it's supposed to be such this big melting pot and all for righteousness, good, and justice, and democracy, and freedom, and all these good sounding things. But a lot of systems was put in place from the very beginning for this thing to exist and for it to make it the way it was. A lot of free labor, a lot of injustice, a lot of terrible things that was allowed, inhumane. And so it became what it is today. People benefited from it, profited from it, became powerful. And now it's hard for them to want to sort of, get back to being humane. They want to succeed in this system now, the way it's sort of, it's easy to talk about people, human beings being collateral damage and looking at war as a favorable thing in some cases when there's no need for a war, i.e. Vietnam and this last Iraq thing with the weapons of mass destruction. So you think about this system we live in, and if it continues to go down this path, some of the people that's really thinking that they're making it are going to be in harm's way of these children and these people that's living like the Wild Wild West and living like John Wick and out here frustrated and confused and feeling lawless. It's going to affect some people that really feel like it shouldn't affect them because they live in a certain tax bracket. They think they live in a certain class, another system, another culture. But really and truly what's going to happen is it's going to separate the elitists, the most elite of the elite. It's going to separate these people that they call elite or 1%. It's going to separate these people that really have the billions and the ones that really own the companies and the corporations from the people that's on Forbes list and from the people that make 6 and 7 figures a year. If you don't have bunkers or you can't get into places that other people, right now there are elite people that live in spaces that you will never have access to, and you can never find them. You can never lay a hand on them. They can move around this world, move around this planet, and nobody keep an eye on them. Nobody know what they're doing. Then you have some that they consider 1%. They don't really understand they're not on that level. So it'll leave them in a position of where they're going to have to start finding a way to survive. That's why you have so many people stocking up on guns and this and that. they're gonna be the ones that think they're really defending the country or defending their rights. But we're gonna be in chaos. But you know, I said something yesterday. It has people in a situation where they're being they've been segregated by class, and then even worse by race. And don't get me wrong, racism can be, or discrimination can be practiced or felt across the board. But racism as a system can only be implemented by one group of people. And it's not all of them, because some of them still fall prey to the classism. But once you get beyond class, they have some type of privilege that somehow seems, you know, to be good enough for them, but they don't realize it's not the same as that upper level privilege. And so, you know, they don't understand what racism is, and they feel like, well, it's across the board. But remember that word that I said, the system of racism. I can't practice that. I can't use racism as a system. I can probably say some racist things all day long, but the actual system of racism, I can't even begin to start trying to implement that, you know, in the same way that it impacts everybody else, people of color. So you know, everybody's gonna be distracted and put in a situation where we're still trying to survive, but at the same time, you know, some people that feel like they shouldn't have to worry about these on the bottom, they're gonna have to deal with these on the bottom, because their kids are frustrated and they don't even realize it. I mean, we talking about now kids fighting teachers in schools over cell phones. Children killing their parents because they won't buy video games for them on Amazon. I mean, you know, that aggressive nature that really looks normal to children and nobody's really even understanding why it's just becoming so prevalent and popular. You know, but before I stop talking about this, man, it's funny that I noticed that somehow Texas and Florida always ride in unison with this extreme craziness. Texas and Florida ride in unison, man. They find certain things to exploit, man, and put out there on the front page, man. And it's always the governors always doing these extreme acts, man. I mean, it's, you know, people need to pay attention to that. Florida and Texas and how these states work together and doing these things is going to be hot button topic issues across the globe, across the country.
Exactly. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to have your input. We're talking about the differences. What is this space in this gap? Like Texas, same state, same governor. Situations are different. One guy commits murder. The governor wants to pardon him for committing murder. Another guy spit on a police officer. The governor, the state of Texas want to give this person 68, 69, 70 years in prison for spitting on a police officer. Leonard, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, in the Morning Glow family.
Leonard, explain to me, help me understand how could this be so many worlds apart when one person murdered someone and you want to give him a pass, and somebody else spit on a police officer and you want to give them 70 years. Leonard, help me understand it.
That's because the people you have put in office have the discretion to do so. Choose people that don't behave that way. Choose people that don't have those types of beliefs and principles. That's how you change things. It just tells you the type of place that is. We weren't always the United States of America. You still have people with their same points of view. There are some people that would still agree with slavery. And if they get enough people in office to enact it, they would do that. So don't you ever believe that it's some magic or something that you can't understand. You know exactly how it happens, because look who the person that they gave the power to. What do you thought they was going to do with it? They're going to do what those type of people do. You don't never have to accuse nobody of being a racist. Watch what they do. That's what makes them a racist. That's how they behave. They're going to always tell on themselves. Whatever type of wickedness is within, that's how you going to act. So it ain't never been this type of thing where people are talking about division. No, it's good against evil. That's what it is. Evil people do evil things.
Yeah.
Ain't no sense you trying to make no excuse for them because of their
Mhm.
color, because of their race. None of that.
So
They are
this governor is
who
evil. This
what they
governor is
do.
evil. This,
Yes,
this
they do what they do.
yeah,
And ain't
yeah.
no explaining your way out of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, you don't care nothing about no whether you a Republican or nothing. I watch what you do.
Mm-hmm.
If you gonna ride with people that ain't about nothing, you ain't about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rock with you if you're doing certain things. I am not you. You are not me. We come together because of things we have in common. Some people got nasty stuff in common, and that's why they kick it with one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so we have to understand that while we sitting back doing nothing, they doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked people are very aggressive. They don't just let stuff happen. They move to take control. They move to get into positions of authority. Why? To abuse those positions of authority.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody that wants to become a police officer is not a good guy. He just want to be on the side with the power. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Yeah.
care nothing about saving your community and all that stuff. He just
Mm-hmm.
want a badge and a gun so he can walk around here doing whatever the hell he wants to do
Hey.
to people.
Mm-hmm.
And you better get that in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because walking around here thinking somebody owe you something, somebody gonna give you the right of way or what have you, that is not a good way to live. You need to be aware, you need to be conscious of the evil and wickedness around you at all times. So you can know, hey, I don't want to be that guy.
So basically, what I'm hearing you say is always there. The wicked and the evil is always there.
When has it not been? You pick a time.
Okay. I just want to.
Look,
I want to do
it
that.
ain't even how we like to do it. You can go pick up a book and find out how other people from different civilizations like to do it. Don't you
Mhm.
think because we over here, they not wicked over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they are.
The British, the guy that worked for the British government over there, he has some time. I'm gonna look it up a little bit what exactly who he is, but he made a statement. He said that all white people should have at least one slave, black slave. I was like,
There
wow.
are some people that believe that.
I was
It's
like,
like you
wow.
got people. Some people are only against slavery because they think of only about blacks
Mm-hmm.
and they black.
Mm-hmm.
But think about it. If you're the type of person that would want a slave, I'd rather your throat be cut.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, Leonard, some parents treat their children like slaves.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You got to think, when I tell people, it's easy to point to them and act like they so different than you. What would you do if you had the power? What would you do with it?
Mm-hmm.
You just as wicked. If you would like a slave, you just as wicked as the whitest racist ever.
Yeah. 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 Good deal. Let me go to Kurt. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Kurt, you there?
Yeah, right here, man.
Talk to me.
It's
Talking to your phone, Kurt. You're a little bit low, brother. You're a little bit low.
it's if you live in America, you're acting like you don't know what's going on right now. You can't see what's going on right now. And I'm going to highly recommend that you take the blinders off. Because there's no other way that you can flip this, spin it, rub it down. Oh no. You can't, and to be honest with you, here's what's on my heart. I'm saying it one. Dr. King had a quote that he made, and I wear it every year on his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "We will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one of the most powerful quotes that, like I said, one of the most powerful quotes that was ever made. Because for those people that are complacent and not saying nothing about it, I hate to say it, but you're just as racist as the people that's perpetrating it.
Mm-hmm.
If not even more racist. Because you have this false ideology that same hatred is not going to come back at you.
Mm.
And you're going to catch it the worst. At least for me, my death might be a short death. quick one.
Mm-hmm.
But to go through a death of the dying and the killing of your soul is something totally different.
Wow. Wow.
So I tell folk all the time, ever since I started coming on this show and we start having a conversation about race, I remind folks to go back and read the Kerner report.
Mm-hmm.
Old man from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
White man. Him, 4 other mayors, and I think one congressman, I believe it was, were sanctioned by, I want to say, LBJ to explain what was going on in America during the civil rights movement. They wrote a whole report. They told us 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, that the biggest problem America was going to face in the future, if they did not address the issue then, was going to be racism. They said it blatantly.
Mm-hmm.
This came right out and said it.
Yeah.
You got to check the report.
Wow, that's
For
good.
those that don't believe me, Google it. The Kerner report.
Mm-hmm.
The Kerner Commission report.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Cassandra?
Yeah, Raheem, we've I don't know. We know what's happening, and when I say we, those that have experienced this firsthand and those that have seen it relevant in their life, we know exactly what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just want people to pay attention. Just pay attention to the system and how it's working and who it's working for and who it's not working for. It really boils down to that. Who is it working for and who is it not working for? Who is still the brunt of most of the discrimination? And just to me, it's simple. I can't say any more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty simple and clear.
Wow. Zamari, what do we need to do? Zamari, you're the president of the United States of America. You're running the United States of America, and your platform is to end racism. How do you do that?
How do you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I don't even, Raheem, that's that okay. You threw me with that one because it's like, what are you going to do? Because no matter what you do, right, you're still going to have people who have hate in their heart, period. It doesn't matter what laws you implement. I mean, for instance, we've got laws against murdering people. People still do it. We've got laws against owning weapons illegally. People still do it. Mm-hmm. The black market still exists. We have laws against abusing your children, child slavery, all of these things. It still happens. So you can
sex trafficking and all that.
All of that. It still happens. So I think you can absolutely, take steps and you can preach that togetherness and, that peace. But at the end of the day, people are people. And you have good people and you have evil people. The malice is in the heart. It's rooted in the heart of the person. So it's not ever going. Yeah, exactly, Leonard. I didn't even see what you said until just now in there. He said hate in one's heart is not racism. But it is you have to be hateful to hate a particular group of people for any reason. You know what I'm saying? To be racist against that group, there has to be some sort of hate or malice in your heart for that. Why? I mean, why would you otherwise? What? Because their skin might be a little bit darker than yours. Their eyes might be a little bit shaped differently, a little bit more than yours. What reason is there really to be racist against anybody else? It's like we say on here all of the time, right? Look at the person's merits. Look at the heart of the individual. But how, as the president of the United States, how do you implement that in such a way where you have a peaceful country? I really wish I had the answer to that. I do not. We can lead by example. And we've had leaders who have led by example.
Wow.
But it was always short-lived, and there were always still those on the other side who were still hating, who were still racist. So
secretly.
See what?
Yeah.
Not even secretly. Not even secretly. I mean, if we go back to the time of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, still had KKK out there.
Yeah.
We still had, aside from them, there were still other racist groups out there, regardless of that message of love and peace and togetherness that they were really preaching. It didn't matter. They didn't want to see that. They just wanted to see this one particular group of individuals as a plague on society, and they didn't want them. Period.
Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Toussaint, you with us? Toussaint, you there?
Yeah.
Talk to me, brother. Talk to me.
I'm listening, man.
Now, you're the president of the United States of America. I'm gonna give you the same question. You're the president of the United States of America. Your platform that you ran on is to end racism. That's your platform. How do you go about doing it?
They probably assassinate me.
Lord Jesus.
That's what's gonna happen. See, because that, I don't care if you're the president of the United States, you can be the president of the world. There's an evil that will not submit to righteousness. We talk about racism is just one
small element.
Element. Thank you for that. Thank you. Because I wish I was like some of y'all. Y'all got these big word mentalities.
Lord,
I wish I could do that. Boy, I wish I was a written dictionary. Boy, I'd be smart. Then you talking about, oh boy, if I had some big words.
You use them all the time, man. You just throw them out there.
Boy, I'd be a bad dude.
Tripolate between that. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, so Kulula put, you know, anyway. But every time there is somebody that has a heart to just do right, they're the bad guy. Somebody said it earlier. Give us Barabbas. What you gonna do with Jesus? Well, crucify him. We don't need nobody to heal the sick, raise the dead, cause the blind to see, the lame walk, them talk. We don't need nobody like that talking about love everybody. Love who? What? Where you get him from? Where he come from? Well, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Chop his head off. Because we don't want that either. Talking about what God said. We're gonna drag him down the street. That's what we're gonna do with him. So when you focus or lose focus, trying to concentrate on one thing, you miss the mark. You can have power, but there's a prince of the air that throws things out there and puts things out there and creates a scenario that people will be amazed with. Oh, that sounds so good. And see unrighteousness and evil and ill will, the thrive and the thrust for get and gain and power is the very foundation in which not only this country thrives on, but this world and society. We're self-destructive. That's what we are. Put us in a good position, we'll mess it up. Find Eden and see if we'll go right back and set it all back in order. And mankind will go right back to that doggone
vomit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. See, what we would do, we'll ignore Cassandra. We'll ignore the tree of life and go right back to the tree of good and evil, and we want to know something.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about that is the enemy will say, you can be like God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Oh, that's what I want in the first place. You mean to tell me I can have that type of power? Well, give me a bite of that. I'll take a bite of that. That'll work for me. But in that, it's a disobedience. And all disobedience is sinful.
Mm-hmm.
It's destructive. And what it will cause in this country is the best example, because somebody said it earlier. I'm trying to shut up, Raheem. We said this is a melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
Because all ethnic groups are in this country. Well, the pot's melting. It's melting.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
Also, Raheem, we
This
should make
dude,
it a point.
hold on. He said that I'm trying to stop, Raheem. I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to stop talking. Lord knows I'm trying to stop. What you say, Leonard?
I see that your question is, if you were the president and your goal is to end racism, how would you do that?
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't know what the original question was. But let's make it a point to also understand that it's a lot more. You have to relate things to one another in order to figure them out, or to either be on the right path. Israel, which is supposed to be a high holy place.
Yes.
Do you know how many religions and things are there? And how many different types of people are there in this place? And whenever your religion becomes oppression, that's when I go away from you.
Mm-hmm.
My religion is not based in your oppression.
Mm-hmm.
So the people with these oppressive beliefs about religion are different. They're practicing something different. Jesus never said his purpose was to sit and sing you to hell. Everybody gonna die and go to hell. That wasn't his message. It says, if you want to follow this way, follow this way. I will save you if you follow this way.
Yeah.
Now think about people that don't care nothing about what he said, don't believe him, and could care less.
Mm-hmm.
That's the majority of people. That's the majority of people. So when I hear people talking about, you think you so good, but no, you're not. When given the power, what would you do with it?
Yeah.
That's what you have to ask yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself. There are some people, if you get in power right now, they'll go after everything that they hate. We won't think about nothing else. Only what they don't like. That's what they're going to go after.
Mm-hmm.
We got to depart, like you said, what would the president do? Ain't so much the president can do. The president we have now at least set the initiative to go after federal agencies, which he has control over as it relates to racism.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't come in your neighborhood and do that.
Yeah, it's good.
You got to do that in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect everybody else to come and with this cape on to save you. It's not going to happen. You're going to save yourself.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ryan, I was told to throw this question at you, brother. Now, if you're the president of the United States, you've just been elected president of the United States of America, just been elected. Your platform is to is to end racism. How do you do it?
Yeah, this was a setup. So I'm gonna give the unpopular opinion, and I'm gonna kill everybody except for certain individuals. So you say,
wow,
I'm doing Way Out Wednesday. I'm taking it all the way out.
You going way out there, bro.
All the way out. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna keep one of every ethnicity and have everybody crossbreed. That way, can't happen.
So For your body could be a big orgy. What you call it? What you call it? An orgy? Where you have everybody just section each other.
I guess. I mean, God did it in the beginning, right? All them people just didn't come from Adam and Eve. He did it in the beginning.
Leonard said that's a no for me, brother. Leonard said, that's absolute no.
I'm just clowning. Going way out.
Yes.
But makes sense to me, right? Well, what do I know? Somebody got some feedback.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is, man, how do you do it though? Badger, how do you do it? You're the president, Badger. You're the president of the United States of America. Your platform is, I'm going to end racism. I'm going to end racism. Badger, how do you do it?
Sent you a clip that was from the Yellowstone show. It's kind of ironic, where he's asking his secretary, what's going on in that room? There's a bunch of people making policies.
Badger.
Oh, I'm getting there.
You taking a long way? You got 3 minutes, brother. Go ahead.
And he walks in the room, tells the person to get out of his seat because he's the governor. And he asks them about the policies. And they throw something about trying to save something. So then he asks him about, well, what about this part? You think about that. And the person is looking at him real serious. And he says, you know what? I fire you all. And then he looks at the secretary, how much did we just save? And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about this question and I'm going, get rid of the racist people out of the political seats. Hold the news accountable for pushing certain narratives. And that's a start. Because it's hate. And I acknowledge that in this world, you would have to commit mass genocide to truly get rid of hate. And there's still not a chance that it's not going to develop in some other way. I don't think it's possible to have a utopia.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Wow. Cassandra, same question. Since you're the president, you ran on a platform that said you are going to end racism. Cassandra, how do you do it?
First of all, he shouldn't be elected because it's a fool that would even say that. That's the bottom line. Only a fool would say that I'm going to end racism, because it's not going to happen. Point blank, bottom line, it's not going to happen. Because you will always, and I mean, we can take it as a biblical sense. A wise man would never say that, So I'm just trying to figure out how we going to get to that. It ain't going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to happen. And I would never say that. I would hope that any president, if I was the president, I would never make that statement. Now, I know I couldn't do it.
Okay, for the sake, I appreciate that last part you just said, but for the sake of the conversation, that was your platform, and you said you're going to end racism. What would be some of the steps that you would do to move in that direction? Not that you would possibly end it, but how would you move in that direction?
I would pass laws. I would do mandatory laws that there were strict punishments for racist groups, whether it's white, black, I don't care who they are. If you are a group that's against somebody and you're hating people and killing people and injuring, you're gonna really know that, yeah, this might not be something you want to do. This might not be the thing for you. And I think only with that type of ruling would we have some people that at least pay attention. But I don't like hypotheses like this, because it ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna never end racism. That's biblical. Even you can go in the Bible, you ain't gonna see that. Not until the end of time here.
But is that sad though that it'll always be here? That's something that'll always be here.
Pitiful. It's pitiful, Reem. It's pitiful, but it's a reality because you're gonna always have people walking in hate.
Wow.
Always.
Kurt, how are you going to meet your platform, Curtis?
I mean, if I just think about what you said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get with my Secretary of Education, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, and my archives guy. And the first thing I'm going to do is look at where I want to change the racism at. Do I want to change racism in you old folk? No, I don't, because that ain't going to work. It ain't even going to scratch the surface. But how about them kids? Like, can I change kids? So you change the kids by changing the curriculum in school. So I would pass laws that would mandate, or I would try and have laws passed that would mandate that schools no longer teach the lie. You teach the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. That's number one. Then number two, once I get my people at the archives, I'm sitting down with them to say, okay, now it's time for us to let go some of this paperwork. Like the true Malcolm X assassination, the true Kennedy assassination, the true paperwork on the Abraham Lincoln assassination, the true paperwork on why there was even what some folk like to call the Boston Tea Party, which was a lie that we was taught. The truth about a number of things that happened, Mr. Avery's boys, a number of things that happened in American society. The truth about the what is it called? Rico and Badger always remind me of it. The Trail of Tears. It's time that if you want to end racism, in America just gonna have to stop lying, man. You got to stop lying to the people. You got to tell people that you got to trust that those very same people who elected you, you're gonna have enough trust in them to say that once I told the truth, or once we told the truth, they're not gonna blow a gas.
That's good. That's good.
Last but not least, I would definitely put out there my vision for where we go once racism is stomped out and or minimized. That Fed paperwork will go out there. You know, the Fed just did another case study, Raheem, just last year. Out of the last 15 years, the Fed done did, I think, 4 studies. And in the last year, they just did a study that once again said that the #1 domestic violence organization in the United States of America is the Klan.
Wow.
That ain't the first time they done found that out.
Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521 is the phone number. Rico, how you gonna meet how you gonna meet that ticket, man? How you gonna reach that? What do you want to do?
First, let me ask you, is Peter and Joseph still on?
No, they had to take off.
Oh man, I was really interested in hearing what they had to say, man. You know, I like what Curtis said, man. First, I beef up my security because obviously, if you get into that superhero position and you actually try to do a superhero's job by bringing peace and equality, man, somebody gonna knock your head off. They're gonna do something. They're gonna set you up and try to cause some type of scandal. So I would definitely have my own. It wouldn't just be the United States Secret Service. It would be my own personal security. They're gonna probably try to accuse me of being like Putin or somebody. I wouldn't care. But I would have my own security, my own people that I would have with me along with the Secret Service to vet them and make sure that they was operating right. And you know, I would always keep in mind that if you control the resources, you can actually dictate the behavior of a society, and you can actually cause that society to turn on itself. if you control the resources. So what I would do if I was president, I would reel in all these corporations and all these people that have control over resources that impact people, media, food, you name it. I reel all of them in, and I would start putting regulations on them and oversight on them. I would start holding them accountable to building or rebuilding the American society in a more moral way. And then I would address racism, because one thing you can't do is you can't stop somebody from feeling some way about a person or saying something about a person. But what you can do is criminalize the acts of racism, the systems in place that create racism, which normally, like I said earlier, is a trickle effect from the elites and the have-nots that created a system of in society where resources became something that you had to pay for and work for and do it in the way that they decided. They controlled those resources and then created standards amongst classes and races of people. All of us still fighting for the same thing. They control that. But this mentality, this condition that we live in, they made people get out of that, once again, that example of what America's supposed to be. And so, you know, imagine promoting yourself as a superhero. America, the great melting pot. Everybody got an opportunity to accomplish the American dream. But at the same time, you know, the foundation wasn't made for everybody to accomplish the American dream.
Yeah.
From the very beginning. America became what it became because it wasn't meant for everybody to achieve the American dream. America had to become what it became by creating a system where they control the resources and had a society of people that they dictated how they live. That system impacted them. So I would create these laws, you know, to counter these systems in place. They create the conditions of the criminal. I wouldn't be like Joe Biden and just say, I want to lock up the super predator. I would address the conditions that create the super predator.
Yeah.
You know, and Curtis said something earlier about if you're a racist, if you aren't racist, but you know other races, then you're just as complicit. And it's funny that he said that, because I made a post yesterday about if you are a parent, but you are friends or associates with bad parents. You know, these parents got to have children. If you are friends with bad parents and you don't intervene or address them, and you accept their behavior, or you accept their friendship and your standard, even though you know they're bad parents, then you just as complicit to what we're saying about these children today. If you're a racist and you don't intervene, or if you aren't a racist, but you got racist friends and you don't address what's going on when they start saying these things, then you just as complicit when you don't speak out on it.
That's good. That's good. Toya with a T, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Yarn. Good morning, y'all.
Hey, good morning. Good. Toya with a T, you are the president of the United States of America. You just been elected, and your platform is you are going to end racism.
Oh Lord.
Toya, how do you do that?
Honey, who ain't no what? Boy, the president of what? What we the president of feelings? The president of the United States? How you gonna stop racism?
I don't know. That's your platform, and you won. No. So now that you got the job, what are you gonna do? What's your next?
Lord,
what's your next?
You got me. You must be my campaign manager. You got me making promises I can't deliver. Jeez. Yeah, no. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put something in play for racism, right? First of all, we're gonna have some educational opportunities lined up, you know, probably with the Department of Family and Children Services, schools, things of that nature. We need to go ahead and get educated, what it do, what we happen, how many people died from it, things of that nature, because that always kind of helps gauge people. I notice even, you know, in any other field, you talk about something, people become more cognizant. So definitely we need education. But not only that, we need to start to remedy some consequences for it. So yes, absolutely, just like anything else, it will be as a hate crime if you get caught doing anything physical, breaking any kind of laws, violating anybody's personal rights due to racism. And if we prove that it's racism, you will be incarcerated. Not only that, if you are in the house and it is come to our attention that you are a racist, DFACS will be at your house to assess your children. Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to have generational racism rolled out here. So we're gonna come and access the house. We're gonna assess your kids, making sure we're gonna put that with neglect. We're gonna put racism with neglect, right? And then we're gonna hold you accountable from that point. And not only that, I think we're gonna implement some kind of visitation services for families. You know what I mean? Someone needs to be at the house constantly checking, making sure that you and your household is operating racist free, neglect free. Then we finna be all up in your business. If you're a racist, that means it's probably a couple of other things we need to monitor too. So it's gonna be like DFAT. We're gonna be like the IRS. We're gonna be all up in your business, all up in your information, your mail, and everything. And we're gonna squeeze it out of you. You're gonna be too scared to say "ruh" when I get done with you.
Wow. Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
Question for you. I want you to think back to a younger Cassandra and tell me who taught you about money, how it works, all of these different things about money. Who taught you finances?
Nobody.
Wow.
Not one soul. What I learned about needing money, I learned from experience. When my mother died, leaving 5 children at 29, she was 29. I was 12, and I was the oldest of 5 children. And I learned that we had to have more money because my grandmother took all 5 of us in. And I began to work at 12 years old. That's how I learned about money. No one ever taught me anything about money.
Wow. And see, that's a sad reality. I'm gonna go around. I want to hear everybody's take on this. And but a lot of times that might be across the board. That really might be across the board. Let me go to Zamari. Zamari, who taught you about money? Can't hear you.
I just realized I still was muted. My mother tried to when I was younger. I don't know on what scale you're talking necessarily about teaching about money. Are we okay? No, actually, yeah, she did. Okay, because I always struggle. I've told you this. I've always struggled really hard with math, and so she would try to teach me, like, if someone hands you a $20 bill and what they purchased was like $19.75, how much would you give them back? So she taught me money in terms of that. She did not teach me financing. So how to balance checks and balances, all of that stuff. She didn't teach me all of that, but she did teach me about money.
Okay, that's good. Leonard, who taught you about money?
My family taught me about money. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can teach you all you want about money. It's still behavior. You can know everything about money and still not have none because you like to spend it.
And that's my point.
Some people with that type of mentality.
And that's my point right there. Who taught you that about putting some back from rainy day and different things? Who taught you that?
My grandparents were like that. All of the people I knew were like that. I mean, that's what people who had came from nothing knew better than anybody else. It's about saving their money for things that come about, or that whole quote about the rainy day, this, that, and the other. Now you take that, and that's a different conversation as it relates to what I think the narrative is. Because I very seldomly go along with narratives.
Yeah.
The reason why you is poor is not because you don't know nothing about money. That is not why you don't have what you want.
Well, the fool and his money will soon depart. Ain't that what it said?
Yeah, but you had to have something to depart from.
You still broke.
Exactly. So the knowledge of money don't change every financial situation. Don't look at being poor as not understanding money, because that's not what it is. It's about what you chose to do with money.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who can tell you, oh yeah, I used to have a lot of money. They could have worked at banks, could have had great jobs and everything. Now they ain't got nothing. They had nothing to do with them not knowing about money. It's the choices they made with the money that they had.
I saw a video on I think it was Facebook a couple of weeks ago, Dante West. And talking about how he was walking around, man. And this guy played in the NBA, man, played with LeBron and all them guys, man. And they was talking about he don't have any, he's broke now, washing
Right.
people's windows. And I was like, wow.
Because he made bad decisions
Wow.
with his money.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not paint the narrative that just because you know you have. I know a lot about money, but I'm not rich.
Mm-hmm. Well, you say not yet. Tucson, who taught you about money? Tucson? Where your cam at, man?
Is on off.
I okay. I think I see that part. Go ahead.
No, man. See. I guess I would say my parents. I'm the last of 12, and they made things work. They made things happen. We never was hungry. We didn't have the best, but we did with what we had, and we made it work until things got better. As it got better, if it got better. But then we never did try to keep up with the Joneses. Wasn't trying to figure out who the Joneses was. Matter of fact, we had some kinfolk that was Joneses, and that's another story. But I still don't know how to, I find out that money ain't good in my hands. So I find somebody that know how to manage it better than me. Keep it out of my hands. You said something about a fool and his money will soon part. Sure will.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how we got here, but
way out Wednesday, brother.
Yeah, we way out. And so, man, if you're talking about solving issues with money, that ain't gonna do it. That for sure, that ain't gonna do it. Because this is one of the, I don't know if it's the richest country in the world, but we sure got a lot of money to waste. On nothing. How many do y'all even know how many roads to nowhere there is? Bridges with no purpose. Houses that nobody live in. Billionaires, millionaires that got more than one multi-million-dollar house. For what? Seven Maseratis in the garage. For what? And I say Maserati, I'm talking about Bentley and everything else. They got all of that. They got a couple of cars. They're a couple of $1 million. Just that one car. For what? So money ain't the problem. Not the lack of it ain't the problem. It ain't gonna solve nothing. Is not what you have, is who you are on the inside.
Say it.
I mean, because they got people that they got the answer, but they got a bad heart. They got a heart problem. People with bad heart problems, you can't make them do right for nothing in the world. You can't make good bad and bad good.
Yeah.
You can't put anybody that has a mentality and say, well, I'm gonna, if I do this or if I do this, I'm gonna make them do right. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. You're gonna waste a bunch of time. That's why I don't entertain negative people. I let them be negative. You go that way. That's what you do. Even, and I'm gonna say this, and I shut up, Raheen. I'm gonna say that. I said that again.
Yes, sir.
Even in see, when this all thins out and it comes to an end, when it comes to a screeching halt, even divine wisdom says, when he comes back, if you filthy, stay that way. You're unrighteous, stay that way. Because when the rubber meets the road, you're not going to have time to change.
Yep.
You have an opportunity now to make all the necessary provisions and changes and do the right thing right now. But look at what we're doing. We're going in lightning speed in the wrong direction.
Yes,
and we love it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Toya with a T, who taught you about money?
Yeah, so yeah, Dad did teach me about money, but I suffer from this thing called hard-headedness.
Mm.
You know, when you're a female, right? Shopping is your thing, right? So we like to shop, and we come up with other things, retail therapy, to help us spend our money, right? Those nails, that hair, those clothes, those $600 shoes. Some of us try to get that we don't. But yeah, no, we are very knowledgeable about money. I remember taking classes. I remember signing up with a couple of little opportunities like Primerica. They would have and offer all kind of classes to help you budget, how to be familiar and recognize that your money's going all over the place. You know what I mean? How to reel that back in, and you know, again, getting caught up in the system. You buy what you want to buy. But then I think it's a flip part to it, because we're talking about money, but it's like what somebody said earlier. If you're not making, if you're underpaid, what you gonna budget? How you gonna budget enough money for a $1,600 rent and you only make $15? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not always about arithmetic. It's not always about adding up. It's also, we have to recognize disparities, right? Stuff happens. People have tons of money and stuff happens, and the next day they're broke.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not always about budgeting. It's not always about education. At this point in my life, I'm a firm believer. I mean, this is just me from what I've experienced these last couple of years. If it wasn't for God, every job that I've had, every strand of money, everything that's ever happened to me in my life, God has had something to do with it.
Yes.
And even if I don't make sure I pay attention on a regular basis and do the right thing, I still know that my source comes actually from Him. You understand what I'm saying? And there are things that when I do out of order, it's always something else, right? You don't get a oil change, you can lose your engine, right? You don't pay your rent, you can get paid. What I learned personally for me, if I don't tithe, my money draw up. And now this is something new. I haven't always tithe. Something that I've just been doing the last 4 years. Lord, hey, you deliver me. Hey, whatever you need, I'm with all that heebie-jeebie you talking about. Oh, what them folks say? Oh, well, I'm with it and I'm gonna do it. And I've noticed that when I don't tithe, oh my gosh, what the struggle. So yeah, I have been taught about money from a family perspective. God also has had a hand in discussing money with me on a regular basis, you know, but at the end of the day, it still boils down to the decisions and the choices that we make with it. We know better, especially at this age. Everybody on this panel, honey, it no need to talk about what parents did. Heck, we 30, 40 years from what our parents taught us, and ain't nobody on here listen hardly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to money at this age, a lot of our choices and decisions is where it lies. It's not because we don't know no better.
That's good. That's good. Stanley, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, brother. How are you this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Asking a question. Stanley, who taught you about money?
Well, several people. My dad, granddad, even my father-in-law. You know, my dad, when I was a little boy, we talked about money and stuff. My granddad had told me something. I was 15 years old that I'll never forget. He said, don't get caught up in money. He said, money will come and go, and money going to be here when you and I are both dead and gone. He says, be the best person you can be and handle the money that you have the way you're supposed to handle it. Handle it God's way. And he said, money will take care of itself. And that's what I'm a firm believer. I don't get caught up in money. You know, there's been a time in my life where I've had $2 to my name, and there's been a time in my life I've had $100,000 to my name. So I don't get caught up in the money. I just try to do the best I can with it and manage it and live within my means. You know, you want to try to have some stuff, but you don't want to live outside of your means.
Exactly.
Give God His share. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and teach your children how to handle their money. You know, and just do the best you can with it, but don't get caught up in it. You know, like I said, I've been broke.
Yeah.
You know, when I got divorced, man, I had to start over from zero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the Lord got me through all of that. So now, you know, to be where I am now, doing what I'm doing now, having what I have now, man, it was nothing but God.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't worry about the money. I knew that money would come if I just did what I was supposed to do. You know, and that's what I've done. But I don't really get caught up in the money situation. And the Bible tells you money will answer all things. Money answers all things. And my interpretation of that is money answers the thing that money is supposed to answer.
Yeah.
Because money can't buy good health. Money can get you to the doctor and get your medication and all that, but money can't buy your health. So money answers the thing that money is supposed to answer.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Rico, who taught you about money, bro?
I think I'm okay. Yeah, I was on. I thought I had my speaker off. Man, I learned from family members. Man, I learned from my grandmama, my granddaddy, my daddy. You know, pretty much everybody that was around me that was spending money and showed me how to spend money. Notice I said spend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that I learned it from them. Those people that told me that you had to make money to buy things and to have things. Or if you didn't have money, it was certain things you couldn't get. And then my stepdaddy came along, and you know, he started showing me how to make money, how to be a good hard worker, and always talked to me about how he worked since he was 9 years old and how he had to take care of his family since he was 9 and he went to school. Hard work, hard work, hard work. And then he started showing me how hard work pays off, and you know how you can have the finer things in life when you have money. You know, and it almost got to a point where he started boasting, but at the same time he was still showing me that, you know, what money can do for you if you work hard. And then after I got a little older, I started seeing that he was going to investors. So he would show me statements, you know what I'm saying? Enrico, in 15 or 20 years, this is gonna be $1 million. You see what this number is? Well, over time, this money is gonna turn into this just for me investing it. So he knew about investing, but he didn't know how to do it personally. He went to an investor. I'm trying to think what one of them, I can't remember what the name of the investment company was. It's one of the popular ones. But I can remember him going to the investment companies, you know, and it worked out. You know, it worked out to a point to where, you know, him and my mom were able to retire in their 50s.
E.F. Hutton.
May have been one of them, you know. So, you know, he showed me about that. You know, he also showed me sometimes how you can be, you know, a bragger and you could get too dependent on it, and you can make that almost, you know, hey, I'm better than everybody because I made these good decisions with money, when really and truly your dignity and your integrity wasn't worth 2 cents. You know, you beat on people. You get what I'm saying? You mistreated people. You dangle it over people's heads, you know. But at the same time, he still didn't teach me the real money system, you know, and I'm gonna say the monetary system that really exists today. Now, the monetary system that people speak about from the Bible, to me, that would make me money. Anything I own and possess, you know what I'm saying, which is me, you know what I'm saying? And to a certain extent, we are worth money. They'll tell you what melanin is worth and what your organs are worth monetarily. So, you know, we are money, but see, we don't realize that part of it. But then there's another system of money that creates the producer and the consumer. See, I was taught how to be a consumer. I was taught how to go work for somebody. But I didn't learn that economic system that you have to go to college to learn to be the mover and the shaker. The ones that have to be able to create income for other people. The one that actually do control and dictate people's way of life, because they are the ones that provide the income. So I didn't learn that side of it. You know, you have that level of education that you normally don't get from home unless you come from an environment where you are the mover and the shaker, where you do dictate how much you charge, how much you are worth. You know, and so I learned about money in the consumerism fashion, but I didn't learn about it in the way of the real American dream, which is actually being able to make money, to make money while you sleep.
Yep.
to sell more than you buy. I didn't learn it that way.
I was looking at this clip probably about a month ago, again on Facebook, Zoom, wherever I was looking at it. But the guy was talking about how the rich people, what they do every time they get $100 bill or something like that, they impregnate that $100 bill to make more money. They impregnate that $100 bill because they don't want to just get money, pay their bills, or be comfortable and stuff like that, and save money, but they want the money to make money. And that's what the whole idea of it is. If you got $100 bill, impregnate that $100 bill to make other $100 bills, and then take it in that route. I say that's powerful right there. Ryan,
why my money impregnate and it disappear?
Lord.
Your money have abortions, brother.
I don't know what it do.
You lose a lot of money getting people pregnant too.
I did that.
Well, see, that's why I said that about learning how to, manage the cost of living.
Mm-hmm.
See, we learn to manage how to be able to survive and to be practical and pay bills and be able to take care of our families, but we don't learn that upper level of being the manufacturers and the producers.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's end of it is going to escape a lot of people because it ain't meant for a lot of people to get it. It's still meant for people to be financial slaves.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan, who taught you about money, brother?
In the beginning, it was the street.
Mm.
I didn't have anybody that taught me about finances other than you need this to do this. And then later on, as I got out with my grandfather, he taught me more about the fundamentals and stocks and things like that, because that's what he did with. And now, years later, say about 30 years later, he don't even mess with that. It's like Rico was saying, he pays somebody to mess with his money.
Yeah.
So, he pays, I think it's Merrill Lynch, something like $400 a month to mess with all of his investments. And he said nice. He ain't rich or nothing like that, but he got enough to take care of him and my grandma and help out the grandkids when they need it every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
But, I learned the basics from the street because when I first started making money, even when I got that first little job, my mother would steal my paychecks.
Wow.
She would take all the money I got and took it for herself, and I never got anything. So I was basically working for free.
Wow.
So I didn't have that concept of money other than it just disappears.
Wow. Wow. Badger, who taught you about money, brother?
I learned a lot of it from myself and coming across random people.
Mm-hmm.
I also learned that I can make a penny scream, but at the same time, I have a tendency to give anything extra to people that are in need.
Mm-hmm.
I could never be a rich man. I'd give it all away.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So I'm me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. Stanley.
Yes, sir.
Stand along the alley of money in this day and time. Are banks safe?
Nah, not really. Not really, because like I said, we know how banks operate. All our money is in there, even though it's insured. They take our money and loan to somebody else, business, somebody else, and stuff like that. And so they're not really safe, I don't think, because they could collapse at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, even though it's FDIC insured, it still may be a time where you can't get a hold of your money. I know people that back when I was growing up, they didn't put their money in the banks. Guys, older guys that sold moonshine and this stuff. They had suitcases of money in their closets under the bed and stuff like that because they don't trust money.
Yeah.
And I think now we need to kind of look more as investing in properties and something like that that's going to be tangible. You know, the land is going to be there. You know, even though you need money to maintain it, pay taxes and all that kind of stuff. The banks are not safe. At least if you had access to some kind of cash or whatever, have property where you can make money off of your property, that's safer than anything to me. Even though the value might decrease for a minute, it's always going to go back up. Especially now when the Department of Agriculture is giving out so much money right now to black farmers and veterans and everybody to produce vegetables and fruits and animals and stuff like that, you know. For the society, that's something that all of us need to get into, is something that's going to make money for generational wealth and not just worry about today.
Exactly.
You know, banks are not safe. They make a long answer to a short answer. No, they're not safe.
Good deal. Rico, what do you say to that? Are banks safe?
I don't think so. I don't think they're safe at all. I keep a lot of cash on me, but it came back to bite me Monday. You know, so now that money that I got in the bank is, you know what I'm saying, that I'm really glad that I still kept the majority of it in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't really, you know, somebody kicked my door in Monday, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And had a field day while I was going to work. You know, took advantage of it, watching me leaving and this and that. But you know, it ain't safe. Money ain't safe, period. You know, and to be honest with you, the cash dollar ain't safe.
Yeah.
That green piece of paper that we love and value so much ain't safe. But you know what's safe? You know what was more valuable than any dollar bill that they can create and print? Me.
Come on now.
Me. Man, health is wealth. If I can't wake up tomorrow and breathe another day, it ain't nothing that a dollar could do for me.
Yeah, exactly.
But now the thing is for you to have some of this health, in some cases, you got to have a lot of money. Unless you can keep yourself healthy before you get to the point where you have to go to these doctors and pay for all these prescriptions and have all these surgeries. Man, y'all better do some bending and squatting and making sure them joints work right. You might need to pick up them knees and see if you could do your quick little trot, because I know people had 50, 60, 70 said that they tried to run and they couldn't. I can't even imagine or fathom, but then I can imagine how that goes once you get stuck and stiff and you stop functioning and moving in certain ways. You stop eating properly. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, yeah, that money is not safe in the bank, you know, and it's really not safe, period, you know. But if you really know what it is and how to utilize it, then I don't want to say you should be consumed with it, but you know, keep it in this proper perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Know that the dollar can crash. And if that dollar crashes, man, we're gonna be, you know, a lot of us gonna be sitting around with a lot of green paper that ain't worth nothing.
Ain't worth nothing at all.
And they trying to go toward that digital thing now. You know, pay attention to what's going on. You know, I mean, if it happened one time, they got us to come to the Federal Reserve note and use these IOUs, and it causes a situation that we talked about earlier. These conditions that exist that create poverty, low class, and racism, and the competition to survive between mankind. They created that with that monetary system.
Yep.
With different systems. Now there's another system they're created that's completely digital. And if you're not careful, you won't be safe then either, because somebody can cancel you, hack you, and make you be worthless. You won't be worth a digital dime.
Yeah. Wow.
If somebody go in there and mess with your finances and hack you the right way. So, you know, what really is wealth? What is real wealth?
That's good. That's good. Leonard. Hey, Leonard.
Can I ask a question?
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. Somebody was about to say something. Who was that?
Yeah, this Stanley. Can I ask a question right quick? Rico might have heard about this.
Go ahead.
And they've been talking about this. I don't know if y'all been paying attention over the last couple weeks. They've been talking about that when this digital thing happens, they're going to do it on a Friday evening. Late Friday evening. That's all the banks closed and everything.
Somebody got something going on.
You won't have access to your phone.
Okay, somebody got something going on.
About that, Rico? Somebody got something.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out who line that is making that noise. Let me see here. Oh, Stanley, it's your line, Stanley. It's your line.
No, it wasn't.
See, when I mute your line, it stops. No. That's not. No. That's not your line. That's no. That's not your line. No, that's our Bishop line. That's the Bishop line. I apologize to you, brother. That's the Bishop's line.
That's okay, yeah, because I'm muted mine. But anyway, yeah, they said they're going to do that like on a late Friday night, early Saturday morning, and it's going to digital. They do something. Don't know when, but it's going to happen. And I know Rico talks money a lot, and I was wondering had he heard that. And when I come back in next week, I'm going to make sure I research that so I can pass that along, because it's going to happen. I tell you, it's going to crash. It's going to happen. We just got to prepare ourselves.
See, my thing is this right here. Hold on one second. My thing is this right here, Stanley. I don't want you to have to, have all that worthless paper laying around. So just before you do that research, just bring all your money on over here, man. I'll hold on to it for you. I don't want you to have to carry all that worthless paper. I don't want you to have to do that, brother.
I'm just gonna go buy me some more property.
There you go. There you go. Yes, Cassandra.
Yeah, Raheem, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to get off, but I just wanted to say what Stanley said and what Rico was saying. It's true. Our paper money is going to be no good very shortly, shortly. And the only way you're going to have access to what they call money is digitally. And I know we might not want to even mention this, but when you talk about the implants in the skin for people to use money, like how we tap in our card now, all of those things are in the making right now. So, let's stay up on that stuff and know, you might have, $150,000 in the bank and think you got, access to it the way you want to. But when this transition takes place, that money you got under the mattress and stuff in the closet, it's gonna be worth nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
Absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
So you guys, I'm getting off. Like I said, I'm getting ready to walk into a funeral.
Okay. Hey, praying for you, sis. Praying for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Somebody let me see. We got 8 minutes. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on? Or before we get out of here? Let me go to Zamar. Zamar, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
This money system goes away, and say you got $250,000 in a briefcase up under your bed, 3 or 4 briefcases up under your bed, $250,000. They say on this Friday, like they were just saying, that they're gonna pull the plug. Paper money is worth nothing no more. What is that gonna leave? Where's that gonna leave you? You have.
I guess I'm gonna go out and buy everything with it that I want to buy. get it out of that briefcase and just go splurge, because if it's gonna be worthless, you might as well use it while it's there.
Yeah. I want now. What are they doing with the gold and stuff like that, man? Because gold is always worth a lot. Is that going to be a part of the digital platform in some kind of way? How they going to do it with the gold?
I have a theory that and there's some things that kind of sort of back this up, and I can't tell you what because it's been a long time since I looked into it, but I think it's going to be silver next. I don't think it's going to be gold. Gold will never lose its value, right? I mean, it just won't. But I think it's going to be silver.
Wow.
Because everyone uses that gold, right? So I think it's going to be the one thing that people have less of most of the time. I don't know. That's just me. I don't think it's going to be gold. I think it'll be silver.
Okay. Leonard, you was about to say something?
Yeah, you called my name a minute ago. Did you want something specific?
Say it again.
You called my name a minute ago. Did you want something specific?
I did. Let me tell you what I wanted. Hold on for a minute.
That would be the good bishop. We get graced today by the good bishop.
Bishop, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? What's all that popcorn you got on your phone line?
I don't know what's going on with static. It's my phone or what. But very interesting show, very interesting topic, man. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate being back online with you guys.
Good deal. Good having you, brother. But are the banks safe? Do you think the banking system that we have today, is it safe?
Not particularly. It's not. I mean, just know what happened in California and how transpired through that. As well as not knowing to understand the fact that the money has diminished greatly, coming up into 2022, 71%, and but now it's 59%, if my mind's assuming right, mathematically. So reasons, our youth is really losing so much to it. It's because every country is trying to gather their own money, make it work in their country. So that's one of the things that we're dealing with in the market and within the money market itself. But yet we need to have our monies in there. And so that, we don't have to worry about what Rico just experienced. Somebody broke in his house and they turn around and come in, they say how much money we got and they steal all we have from our house. Therefore, yes, put your money in the bank. There's an insurance. Whether you put $1 million in or $5 trillion, you get $100,000 back.
Wow.
Out of all that.
Exactly. I'm gonna mute your lines.
You need to utilize the banks to some degree.
Exactly. Hold on one second. Let me go. Rico, this is Paul. Read this for Rico.
Okay, I'm about to lower my screen because it's sort of blocked out on the bottom.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay, it says the conspiracy theory makes no sense. I met a gold salesman a few weeks ago ranting and raving about buy gold, the sky is falling. Sounds like Chicken Little.
What do you say to that?
I mean, it might be true because I can remember, let me see, I guess what was it, 2010? Well, no, I'm gonna say maybe 2012 or 2013, they had that big rush of people, everybody buying gold. Buy gold. And all these different shops was popping up where people was buying gold. And that little crash didn't happen. Everybody was saying, man, yeah, we're gonna have to have gold to survive. You ain't got no gold, it's gonna make it. The dollar fits in the crash. And see, that's what I was thinking about. This is the brainwashing of the system. If the dollar did crash, a specific community could still use that dollar to trade if they choose to say that it's valuable to them. Because really and truly, that's the only thing it's worth right now is what we saying the value is. Now, I've been speaking about BRICS, you know what I'm saying? Brazil, Russia, I think it's India, China, and South Africa. They're coming up with their own income. And the dollar, the way it is dependent on the global market. Those people, and those are only just the big five, BRICS, but there's so many more countries under that that's joining in with that new economic system. And man, that thing now, America ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it because those same economic systems already pillaged America about a decade ago when Russia had the fastest growing population of billionaires. Then China came in and became the fastest growing population of billionaires, all due to America's influence of their money. These were billionaires based on the American dollar, well, pretty much overall wealth. But now these people, they creating their own currency.
Yeah.
So that's going to diminish the value of the dollar even more. America can actually make the dollar, survive if they choose to. But this digital thing is actually, just think about it. If everybody does go out and start spending all their money just so they can start buying things, because that dollar's not going to be worth 2 cents, then all of a sudden the dollar goes back up. All the people that were selling and producing, they got that money, they're just going to be richer again. Because we living in an imaginary value system that is built on valuing material things and man-made things. But me, I'm the most wealthy piece of that puzzle. Me.
There you go.
This created form that money can't even do nothing with. I'm the biggest piece of that puzzle. So I guess if the dollar did crash, maybe me and a group of people that I deal with will continue to use that dollar. Maybe we'll start using some other way of trade. But that's where your education and your mind comes in, and being practical. You know, using some type of logic to say, you know what, man, we can create our own system of trade. That's what Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa is doing.
Yep, exactly.
We can just do it in our own community. I'm pretty sure the Amish will. The Amish ain't gonna let it stop them
at all. At all. We're about to get out of here. Let me go to Ryan. Though, Ryan, what year? What year is it? What year is
What
this?
year is it?
Yes.
It's the year of the collapse.
What year is it, man?
2023.
Okay, now it's 2023. And I asked you that question for a reason. It's 2023. Now, do you remember in 1999, everybody was talking about the world was going to end, and they didn't want to go to bed because they knew that when 2000 come in, the world it's going to be over, man. That's it. That's it. The world is ending.
Good old Y2K.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's gonna fall apart, man. And when 2000 come in here, that's it. Now it's 2023. Go figure. Talk to me.
It's like I said, people have been saying this the end since the dawn of time. If it ain't the end and the computer's all gonna crash, Jesus coming back, everybody coming back, and grandma, granddad gonna rise up out the grave. Been saying that forever. But I take the page out the Mayans book. Everybody talk about the Mayan calendar. You remember that? They say right here, the world's gonna end. The world's gonna end. No, it didn't say that. They didn't read it right. It said this part of the world is going to end, and it's going to be reborn anew. And that's, I believe, if you look at history and the timelines and how things play out, there's always an end and there's always a rebirth. And I think I said this last week, we're about to enter some seriously dark times. We're already seeing the beginnings of it, but in the end, there's going to be a beautiful new beginning, and we can start to corrupt the planet all over again.
Wow. Toya with a T, talk to me, sis. Toya?
Yeah, I remember that Y2K thing. And yeah, you know what? For everybody, world ends differently. Some people today is going to be the end of their world.
Yeah.
We're trying to get so specific, right? But some people worlds end on a daily basis. So, you know, the Y2K scare, oh, the world's going to end. Oh, Bitcoin, imaginary money we can't even see. Run out there and get it. I'm not with all of that. My mind keeps saying no electricity. Electricity is destroying the world. Everything we do, we're destroying the world. I'm trying to stay grounded over here. I still need to be able to detach myself. I still need to be able to navigate because we're in America. Like, we don't understand what we're dealing with. The same people who created these laws broke the laws, just don't want us to break them. The same people who came over here and robbed and steal and sold all the resources and sucked them out, turn around and create and name the resources, and that's the only way we gotta live. So for me, I'm still thinking, off grid. When all this start to take place, I need to be able to navigate without electricity, without solar. Like, again, I think that this is another distraction. You know, money is what they utilize to get us to do what they want to do. Tell on people, sell other people, go above and beyond and do all this about money. So now they're taking away the physical portion. It just makes me think about what Donald Trump said when he was like, oh yeah, I can just kill somebody in the middle of the street. It's the same thing with this right here. Oh yeah, those people are so stupid, they don't even have to have physical money and they're gonna buy it and watch. And then we all flocking to buy money, Bitcoin, that we cannot see, cannot touch. What is backed up with? Somebody just made it up. Here we go again. Somebody just made it up, put some forms in play, and boom, Bitcoin. And then years later when we're broke, it's gonna be like, oh well, what happened? Like it's still operated by an energy source of electricity. So what happens if we have no electricity? What happens if we have no way to utilize our phone? I mean, I just need help understanding this imaginary money we're about to invest everything in, and we can't see, and there's not a resource, and they're not tangible. And if different sources go down, what do? We're going to be in the same situation to where if all these resources went down with paper money, it's not going to cause a thing, but it will allow some people to be rich. Those people, the reason why they try to control the masses is because they want to be greedy and want money and have the power. And they're gonna do that if we all run out and sell our money and oh yeah, just a joke.
Wow.
I mean, like, I think as people, as humans, we gotta reel this back in. Why are we investing in imaginary money? Why are we investing in things that are not real? Why are we investing in things that we say? But then when the only thing we could think about is remember that time Trump said he could kill everybody in the middle of the street. We think about that, but we don't think about what's actually happening right before our very eyes. A distraction. I'm nervous, right? I don't have full belief that is going to transition. I think it is going to be like the Chicken Little story we're just talking, and I don't think it's going to be able to move forward because of the tangibility. But for me, hey, I'm gonna keep it old school, honey. I'm gonna be trading rocks with folks. While y'all go and invest in that imaginary money when it crashed, I'm gonna be stocked up over here with resources and food and fruits and vegetables and resources and things that you're gonna want to come give me something for, and I'll give it to you back. And I don't want Bitcoin. Just saying.
Wow, Leonard.
You know, I kind of like the comments that Paul is making this morning as it relates to the issue. You can fret about anything you want to, if that's what you want to do. But one, you think about how you gonna get it. Think about how you gonna get it. And the best thing to do is start off with a commandment. Thou shalt not covet. Once you remove covetousness from your heart, you see things a little bit differently. So one, if you just focus on how you gonna get what you want and quit worrying about what other people got, you're gonna be fine. If you stay and try to do things the righteous way, you'll probably be a lot better off than other people. Half the people be fretting about stuff that ain't even on your level. They're not even talking about anything that would ever affect you at all. It's how you gonna get it and get what you need should be important. Why is gold? So remember, they had to put in a law to say you couldn't use gold to buy things. Remember? When you study your history, they had to make it illegal to use gold because people would still go take their gold and get what they wanted and trade with it. But they created a law so you wouldn't be able to do that. The coin has been around for a minute now. Your children have been practicing the coin monetary system as long as they've been playing video games. Because the coin was that what it was then. People, you can go and invest in cryptocurrency or what have you. And I say that to make a point because if you never been to if you never traveled, you never been in a currency exchange and all these types of things, people have always had their own currencies.
Yeah.
They've always had it. I have currencies from places like Estonia and places that don't even use their own money anymore when I used to travel, right? So think of it more as involved as opposed to the pessimistic thought, I ain't got it. Everybody got it but me. Think about how you gonna use it. You know, I'm not interested in a world without electricity. I'm not interested in all those types of things because there'll still be that which in me that knows how to generate it now. May not have as much of it, but guess what? I know how hydropower works. You can't stop it from raining, can you? So there's other ways to think.
How you feel about that solar? How do you feel about that solar power? With them solar panels?
Solar power is excellent. But it ain't new.
No.
It's how people use it is new. So start using it now. Some of y'all got probably them little solar powered lights you don't bought to put in your yard. Stuff like solar powered phone chargers now. And those types of things. So you have to determine what it is that you want. Don't think of it as somebody taking something from you, trying to do this to you. What you gonna do? What are you going to do? Are you gonna learn about the new digital age and how things will be traded? As long as you got folks that got things you want, you always be able to trade with them. Lord knows women ain't gonna never not have. You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's gonna always be somebody trying to get that thing.
What thing?
Come on now. You know I can say certain things on your show. Folks gonna always try to get some drink and some good time.
Mm-hmm.
So don't ever think, we ain't never been close to what our people have went through.
Yeah.
In the depression and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
You got a problem when it don't rain.
Mm-hmm.
When you got a problem when ain't no clean water nowhere to drink. Those types of things are real problems. But don't get caught up and boiled down into evolution.
Exactly.
Because
Well,
you're going to evolve as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, we about to get out of here, brother. What Tucson at? Tucson, anything on your heart before we get out of here? Tucson. I know he said he was on the phone. He might still be on the phone. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Before I say that, man, I just want to ask people, do they remember seeing how at one point in time when the teller machines and the cards started being a way to get your cash, and now you start going to stores and you start hearing, what is this Cash App and PayPal thing? And you start hearing people say, we now accept Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now you go in stores and they say, we now accept Bitcoin.
Yep.
All it takes is for you to accept and participate in it.
Right.
So if that dollar crash, some people still gonna accept that dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because they already showed us how it works.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it comes back to you being the biggest piece of that puzzle, being self-sufficient. If we do go off grid, like what Toya was talking about, man, we didn't always have electricity and cars, and we had to get it to get to this point. So somewhere you have to get back to your practical and get to the most important and the most valuable resources, which is you. So what is real wealth? I say my health is my wealth more than anything. And I mean mentally and physically, being able to think practically on how to survive and be self-sufficient and not so dependent if some crazy stuff does go down.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss today's show, go ahead.
And you always got to be prepared. Always got to be prepared. Absolutely.
Exactly. If you missed today's show, would like to hear
something first before you close.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
About something toys you say that if somebody is offering you coin for tail, you're gonna have to give up some of that tail.
You better get up out of here. You better go find some place to be.
You got that kind of line on this.
You better find some place to
be. Lord. Help them, Lord. Help them, Lord. Help them, Lord. Go ahead, Rico. We getting out of here, man. Go ahead, Rico. Go ahead.
If you missed today's show and would like to hear or see the rebroadcast in its entirety, you can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkfmediagroup.com.
Good deal. Lord. Leonard, pray us out, brother.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for an opportunity to share our beliefs and how we live, believing and trusting in you. We hope that someone got something out of this broadcast, that they may be inquired to inquire of you what they should do with their lives, dear Heavenly Father. Thank you once again for your grace and mercy. These and other blessings we ask in Christ's name.
Amen. Been a great broadcast, man. Way Out Wednesday, y'all. Y'all know how we do. Way Out Wednesday. Anybody got anything before we get out of here? Anybody got anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Toya, stop it. Just stop it, Toya.
I'm not
stop
gonna do it. I need my cash. I need my bread, my cheddar, my butter, baby. You come over here for Bitcoin exchange, talk my head, tap my phone. But if you don't get up out of here,
tap your head. Listen, it's been a great broadcast, man. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for giving us opportunity to be a part of your day. It is now, what time is it? 10:13. 10:13. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. That we shine some light on you from the morning glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will as well. Love you. Talk to you tomorrow morning. God says the same.